and then we're going to get started. We're going to go through all the stuff. We are recording. Miss Barbara, can you check our hearts with all that vibrancy you've got going on?
Yes, I'll get started. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we come before you, Father, thanking you, Lord, for all that you do and continue to do in our lives. Father, we invite your Holy Spirit to just have your way today, Father. We thank you, Lord, that the message today, Father, will not fall on deaf ears, Father. We thank you, Father, that the seeds that be planted, Father, will just continue to prosper. We thank you, Lord, for all that you do. We thank you for the abundance, Father, in our lives. We thank you, Lord, for just continuing to just bless us, that we be a blessing to others, Father, that your light would shine through us. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Miss Barbara.
You're very welcome.
Okay, my happy people. So I say this all the time. I rarely do it. Y'all know. Y'all already know. Anybody brand new, never come and hung out with us before? Let's start with that. If so, drop it in the chat.
Now let's start with something else. Where is your microphone right now?
Really close.
Facing away from you?
No, but it's a new office. Oh wait, here we go. Give me a second. Let's try this. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you, but there's a lot of echo and there usually isn't.
Let me go to audio settings. Can y'all hear me at all now?
I can hear you. It's just
Yeah, there is
normal.
an echo.
You're much more present sounding.
We might have to settle with this microphone. Is this one okay? I've got the other one plugged in, but I think it needs to be recalibrated or whatever. Hold on, I'm trying to unplug it.
Oh.
I might have to get stronger. Hold on. Can you guys hear me at all? Okay,
Oh, I can hear you. Yes. In fact, right now it's better. Maybe you're leaning closer to it as you're plugging things in. I don't know.
1 second. I just walked around the back of my computer. Okay. Let's see. Here is, are you there? How about now? I've got this on. Can y'all hear me? Or did I break it?
Yes,
okay.
You have a voice.
Okay. Well, we might have to settle. I promise to do some testing. One more time. Let me go to that. That was not even an option right now. Built-in microphone, internal microphone.
And just make sure you got the right microphone selected.
Yeah, the other one is not even an option now that I unplugged it and plugged it back in. Let me see. The one that you and Derek picked out for me, not even an option right now. It's not even listed. So I just unplugged it. It's probably going to have to do its thing before it comes back on. Sorry if the sound's a little weird today, but that's okay because I don't plan on talking too much. Not too much anyway.
You may want to later update, see if any drivers or anything like that are newer.
Well, I've got it turned on. I've got it plugged in. So in theory, it should be working, but y'all know how that stuff works. So.
And it sounds better there just now.
Okay.
Well, keep moving forward.
Scott said keep. Oh, that's a good one. That's from what is that? Meet the Robinsons. It's an animated movie. It's cute. I will lean in. If I don't, please just tell me, hey guys, I can't hear you, and I promise to do better the best I can. But now back to this part. Robert says fine. It sounds fine. Yeah, everyone's hearing a little different. I will do my best to yell. So nobody's saying they're brand new. You guys know all of this. You know that the brokers are going crazy. You know not to risk what you can't afford. I would really like to increase the caliber of people and interaction in our community, which just means we think about trading and investing different. And there are people who charge an exorbitant amount of money to do the kinds of things that we're doing. And the reason why they justify that is because it weeds out some of the other people, right? And I get it on both sides. I definitely do. So I'm praying that as a community, we can change some of our mindsets to trading, to wins, to losses, to investments, to what we do with money, to money management, attitude, energy, the whole nine. It's everything. It is the difference between the guy who is withdrawing at the end of this month and the guy who is not. And there's no simpler way. It's not because one guy is a better whatever. It's not that. It's the other things that come with the territory. So you guys know all that. If you're brand new, this has went through at the beginning of every class. Yes, we know every broker is going crazy. I'll say again, click the link tree. Please use those referral links and email them, but sign up with any broker that is taking US clients. For us Americans, I should say, brokers and prop firms by the day are changing the rules day to day. It is not even week to week or month to month. It is day to day. So protect yourself in the only way you know how. Take your $20 or whatever the minimum is and keep it in a live account and as many brokers as you can afford to do so. So if and when they do, discontinue any new clients, you're already set. There are people who are still trading their multi-million-dollar FTMOs because their grandfathered in, right? There are people who will maybe never be able to access them again. And I'm not even a big fan of props necessarily. So for me to say that is something. I am a big fan of options. So please, please be mindful. Go give yourself more options. It helps you win in this industry. So that's on that. The rest of this, you guys already know. We're looking for a couple of trades. We already had some big moves this morning, and the retracements have already started. So we'll go take a look at what we see. And if not, we're going to do something cooler today. And the rest of this, again, you already know. Very soon, we're going to start going over all the indicators as well as some experts that we just released and talk about uses, methodologies, very openly, because trading is not a one size fits all. It's a your size fits you. And how do we make that management fit you? We can't be any more real than that. But ultimately, we're looking to compound. Ultimately, I'm still in love with the ATM. Trying it on MT5. So if anybody has any feedback for Scott, it would be very valuable to him. He spent months building that for us to make sure we had it if MT4 went away. So if y'all are using MT5, please go test it. Find the bugs, find the things that are happening, because we're not going to have a finished product if it's only my eyes and his, brain in the back end. We need other eyes. We need somebody else to say, hey, this function is fugly or not working right. So we definitely need those people testing on MT5. If you already have it, you have access to all versions forever because he is awesome. And that's it. So we're managing. I did a Zoom the other day with a guy who did not know a couple of things. It was really awesome. It was just nice. We talked a lot about how do we manage the trades on these calls. It is the same. I'm almost always using 1 hour structure, 4 hour structure occasionally, which is a couple fractals back, a one hour ATR cushion, unless I'm on a bigger time frame, meaning the 4. And I'm always scaling out of a very large percentage of my position early on because I can always get a re-entry. So when you're winning the trade, it's easy to go get the rest of your trade when you're right. It's a lot harder to manage and mitigate your losses when you're wrong. So the reason I trade the way I do is so I can capitalize on my wins and get the most and get the re-entries and go get more and go get more and go get more. And my losses don't really make a big dent to my wins. So even if the numbers don't always add up, like on something like my FX book, because your win to loss ratio is going to be fugly because there's not a lot of losses to average in. And there's a whole bunch of wins, including smaller wins that need to be averaged. And what is an average by definition? It's the accumulation, right? It's all the numbers added together. So of course, it's not going to look as sexy there, but profitability, it's awesome. So that's that. This will be the next Zoom on my to-do list. We're going to Zoom and get the 6 steps to 6 figures from Six Figure Trading Coach that kind of goes over the golden strategy. And I'll get the updated version to post onto here as well. But one of the members created this and it is a little off. I do need to remove it. But this is changing people's lives. So please don't just overlook it. I don't care if you've been around for 2 months or 2 years. Take a look, figure out how you can manage, what time frame you can use, what companion products or indicators or confirmations you need. Please take it and go try to level up your life, because that's what we're doing. And I would love to see a larger percentage of the people I work with actually graduating to those levels. Last but not least, those of y'all who are attached to Six Figure Trading Coach private member community, this is the MyFX book from Social Trading Tools, the account specifically that is only linked to there. Again, will not be perfect. It will not always be this good. I can't be any more real. Right now, it happens to be, right? And we've got several more winning trades, I think, on the table as well. But either way, it's going very well. I would implore anybody who's working on that to demo it, understand the settings before you go put real money in it, and go see what you can do. It's obviously very new. I'd be fibbing if I said otherwise, right? Very, very new, to give you an idea. I don't know how long I want to do the manual side because my intention is to put only in the six-figure trading coach community, a couple of EA copiers over there that are managed with equity protectors as well, that again will have risk attached to them, but have endless options if you're willing to stop looking for perfection, accept the losing moments, and as I said, accept it and go on. So that's that. I'm very excited. I've got a lot of positive feedback from quite a few people. I did go drink my caffeine. I went and got my coffee real quick. And I'm not that cold today, Robert. Thank you very much. He had the power go out in his place. So I laughed at him. I said, you know what? I'm cold here in Florida. So there's that.
Yeah, she was bragging to me the other day when my power went out. About 18 hours, it was 48 in the house, and she's bragging, well, it's cold here too. It's 61 indoors and 70 out. And I'm like, just be quiet. So, but the karma got back to her. So I think you should keep it cold because of these trades this morning, you know,
Okay, there's that. When my
put you up in a freezer.
when my fingers get too cold, I can't use my mouse and my keyboard. Like my kids laugh at me because they're oh, she's working so hard. Because if I'm in the office too long, my hands get cold. It's kind of funny.
It's a first world problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so is like optimizing room temperatures. I told Rosie that I can't justify being so bougie that in one room we're turning the heat on, the other room we're turning the air conditioning on. There are places in the world who don't have heat and air conditioning. Literally, Europe doesn't have a lot of air conditioning, right? And we're over here, we're so entitled that we're like, this room, we're gonna have a little bit colder. Up here, we're gonna have a little bit warmer. We're just gonna have everything climate controlled, and that's extreme. On the same day, you have the heat up 10, 15 degrees and then the air conditioning up down 10, 15 degrees. Same day, same house, same family. That's some stuff right there, but who knows? Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I skipped Trading View. I love doing that on Thursdays. I would really like a lot more volunteers to come out. The people who can learn to see the charts that way, I think have the most success, no matter what strategy they use. I really genuinely do think have the most success. So that's that. We looked at CHFJPY. It's still pushing up a little bit now. We got that nice impulse. We're pushing up. I am looking for a bit more on that particular trade, but we'll see as time goes on. We've got quite a few trades we've been tracking and are using and are trading. Thursday, let me save this template actually before I keep going. Tuesday, we took a nice little hit on US30, but we made that back times about 2, depending on your account and other factors, right? Depending on your account and other factors, you made back your loss and a win. So that means you got like 1 win in the books for the day on nets. So not a bad way to be. Not at all. So it is 20. I know what day it is. I didn't know on Tuesday what day it was. 20. Oh, I didn't know yesterday what day it was. 1/5. Gotcha. So we've got this all set up right now. Cool. That's updated. We know on Tuesday we looked at a couple trades. We'll come back to this and take a look, but we're going straight to Thursday. We usually review trades on Tuesday morning because it's just a beautiful way to be. We have 10 minutes to opening bell. Now that we're actually on the charts, let's talk. Oh man, we still got this markup. Check that out. We didn't get the move up. I think we marked this up on Tuesday to say this is what we're looking for. One more wave down, we got the mark back up. We can scalp it a little bit, but otherwise I'm still looking to see if we're going to get this move to the downside. I really want to see what we do. We didn't have a trade on this. This is just markup analysis kind of thing. I'd like to see us retest that. So how I would trade this is a 15-minute chart is I would buy this up and scalping, meaning I'm very, very protecting of this. I'm only protecting it 100% of the way. Protect, protect, protect. And as I get my first reasons to sell down, I'm going to sell it down. It's a very active methodology though. It's harder to do when you're talking through it. Hold on. 24-ish 100 pips. 2,400 pips. Half of that is 1,200. This is where we're sitting now. We've stopped here. So we've already came to kiss this level. If all we're doing is coming in 1,200, 1,400, 2,400. Not a bad way to be. That's what I'd be looking for. So I'm going to remove all this. That's a Fibonacci. We knew we wanted to come up here past the 61% retracement, and we are moving that direction now. This has already moved a lot to the upside, so any trade we take is going to be risky. No way around it. Any trade we go to take today is going to be risky. But that right there, what you just saw, that's what I'm looking to see happen still. And it's kind of cool because we talked about this way back here. Now, it doesn't always happen in the time we think it's going to happen. Sometimes it's off, and that's okay. So it did pop, it pushed another level before this happened. And that's how we got knocked in around here. Well, it is what it is. Pushed one more level to the downside. Now we're pushing up. So this is how I'd like to trade this. Take your screenshot, whatever it is you want to do to help you understand it, and then see how this plays out. We marked this up on Tuesday. This is the bigger picture, and this is where I'm looking to take this. That's the 1 hour. God, that was beautiful. We marked up that magenta line before it even touched that magenta line. Let's see if we're going to get it. Let's go see. Let's go play. Edward says, you need more coffee. You need more coffee. 15-minute time frame. Buying into this. Now, the good thing is big time frame is up. Smaller time frame is up. But this has moved a lot. Buying into this is risky. So, plus we are 7 minutes to opening bell. So opening bell might just give us the spring to the upside or spring all the way down, clear this low before we get that last wave up. So you have to have enough equity in your account to protect this if you try to trade this with me. Gotta have the equity. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. Let's hit the microphone. I'll look into it. I had some issues with my Zoom the other day too, my microphone. 15-minute time frame, the ATR is only 170-ish pips. Not a lot. Buying into this is the very short-term play. Otherwise, I'm big picture looking to sell. So if you're not interested in the short-term play, don't take the buy. Wait, put your peggings for a stop up in these areas. You might miss them because of wicks and what have you, but do it that way. If you're more looking for the bigger term direction, but do this as you see fit. Hey, who's got info on the news this morning? Anybody? Well, what was the catalyst for all this nonsensory? Anybody know? Because there was some pretty.
There was some data out with retail sales and jobless claims this morning.
Retail sales.
But I think the reason it's weird is because they came out in opposite directions. So it was probably a push to both sides.
Really?
Well, retail sales were down. Unemployment claims are down. The Philly manufacturing index is way higher. Don't remember what that one means. I don't know if it's a price index or what. The level of diffusion index, go figure.
What is that?
Leading indicator of economic health, businesses react quickly to market conditions and changes in their sentiment. So it's a survey of 250 manufacturers in the Philadelphia Federal Reserve's district, rating the relative level of general business conditions. So businesses say, is business good or is business bad?
And what are they saying? It's good or bad?
It says it's better than what was expected. It was expected to be down by 8, and it's up by 5.2.
That's a substantial difference. It's like 14% different, right?
Well, that would be strength of the business environment according to manufacturers. So they're saying business is looking good, so people are buying stuff. And you have more people employed, and we have sales down slightly, which is kind of like last month's. The manufacturing index is going to be forward looking, and the retail sales is backward looking.
Huh.
And then import prices are also slightly higher month over month than was expected. It was expected to be flat. It was up by 0.8%. So if the fact that the businesses are seeing solid business environment moving forward, unemployment is down, and sales are only slightly off. They're expected to be up by 0.2, and it's off by 0.6. So, 0.8 disparity there, and retail sales in general were down harder than expected. But, I think this all adds to the narrative of the Fed staying its course.
Yeah. God. So that's making the US dollar go down?
It keeps strength up for the dollar. That's my quick read on it anyway. Rickey might have different information. He's following more fundamentals these days.
Yeah. Okay.
This
Well,
is just my quick read from the recent news. So
yeah, no, I appreciate it because the US dollar went down this morning, though.
well, let me look at my currency strength here and tell you what the long term is. So
While
going
you're
from
doing that,
daily, it is above neutral
Hmm.
and has been this month. Well, actually, since middle of January, it's been above neutral.
Nice. Middle of January, huh?
And that's on the daily time frame.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about US30. Let's go get a couple of trades. And then we've got a special guest. Michelle, you're unmuted. Do you have any insight? Okay, then you're remuted. No insight from me. I'm just picking on you. US30. Before we go super ham on this buy, beautiful impulse. We retested the 50 on the current time frame, the 1 hour, and the 50 on the 4 hour. We try not to predict, but can we get this spring down opening bell before we pop up? Yes, or spring up and then pop down. It looks like it's moving down pre-opening bell, right? So pre-opening bell is coming down a little bit. So this is going to be risky. I am placing my pending here. I am locking very quickly, okay? Very, very quickly, meaning I'm scaling out of a large portion of that trade very, very, very fast, no matter what, okay? No matter what, I'm scaling out of a decent chunk of that trade pretty quick. So there's that. 1 hour time frame, we might just tank this down. I'd like to get the sell off. I'd like to get the sell off. 5 minute, we just set up for the sell. That's pre-opening bell though. We retested the 15-minute 50. 15-minute, we're still staying above. Would like to see us break this and continue to the downside. We don't straddle a lot in this group because it's very complex, I think, for a lot of people. But if I wasn't on a live, I would straddle this and delete the opposite. That's what I would do if this was my morning to scalp, independent of anything and anyone else. I would be straddling this, knowing that I could get my quick jump up or down based off of the time frame that I was on. I would straddle it. So we're officially at opening bell. We're still pushing down. This is the 15-minute time frame. If this closes all the way bullish and continues, I'll redo our buy. Otherwise, I've got a pending buy up in this area at the continuation mark. That's a 15-minute close, a 5-minute close, I should say. We've only got 50 more minutes. 50 more seconds, I should say. Not too shabby. Anybody else still in UJ? Just out of curiosity.
I am.
You are. It's still got some room to the downside. Still got some room. That's the push we want. It's getting ready to activate. My spread is going to activate it. It is. Okay, so I'm going out some time frames now so we can see it more clearly. We're only scalping this. Spence, I'm going to mute you just because your background noise, but you're welcome to unmute when you would like. 5-minute time frame. We're protecting this very quickly. I'm anticipating, let's get our little blue box. Let's take profit 2. I'd like to see us come into this range. This right here is that fair value gap. I'd like to see how we react in here. So that's a pretty big, steep move in between these two take profits. But even as I was on the higher time frame, that's not too bad. That's 700-ish pips. Even as I was on the higher time frame, I don't see a lot more to the left. I mean, we can pick up this level right here. Slightly more. Slightly. If my mouse would stay still. You're in profit. You're tapping that first take profit, which is only like 250-ish pips. It's very difficult because when you lock profit, you likely get knocked out very, very easily, like stupid easy, stupid easy, ridiculously easy, which is okay. Just know that that's a different broker again. I gotta turn the sound up for that one. Just know that it's going to really mitigate some of your wins. We're sitting back at entry. I'd like to see a little bit more come up. We have another level kind of toward the beginning of this box here. A little bit higher than where I've got that box. I would just like to see this spring up. We may or may not come into here before we get that move to the downside. So what that looks like, got one good trade on the table. This should be blue for projection. I'd like to see us come into here. I'll change the color of this. For blue for projection, white for trend lines. And the longer you hang out, the longer you get to know this stuff. I'd like to see it. When we already marked this up on Tuesday, so we already kind of know. We may come all the way into here, but then I'd like to sell it down. So again, if I was tracking this, I would buy up every 1 minute or so buy, keep buying this, making sure that they're all locked or protected or scaling out. As we start to get that resistance, as we come into this area and start to look like we're slowing down, we get the wicks, we get the rejections, we get the impulse and pullbacks. Okay, cool. I'm going to go back to the 1 minute and say, all this is locked. It's carrying. I know how to trail this. I know it's going to happen in terms of automated or manual trading. Now I'm going to let this run. I might put my pendings all the way up, and knowing that if they're protected pretty quick with a trailing stop, man, they're going to be just fine. They're going to handle just fine. Totally fine. So cool. I can put my smallest pending stop mid blue box, pending sell order, my next here, and my next all the way up here. And then worst case, even if this does continue well beyond our targets, we're going to come back into here to retest. So you at least break even both directions. So, break even. Sean says came late. What? Another $700 open, huh? Who? Not for me. What? No coffee for you? Is that what you're talking about? I don't anticipate us big time frame stuff. We are going to keep. This is a big trend. It's all the way up. We already know that. So if you're buying, you're in that direction. So you want to catch that spring to the top side, you can do so. Here's the targets. There's not a lot, as you can see. This is just right before that peak. And then the last one is here. But I'm not looking for that. My major two areas would be here and then this area. Here. A little skinnier on this one, but to give you an idea. That's where I'm looking. So let's see what happens. That's one trade. One trade. One US30 buy, which is good. And it's working great. If you don't have enough capital for US30, S&P is looking very comparable still, but it's a lot higher up today. So a little bit different to go play with that. It's already retested that full area. And the NAS has also already retested, but it's already, forming that 4-hour bearish candle. So we don't want to, I wouldn't take this same move on NAS or S&P. Sometimes I would tell you, hey, yeah, those are just as good. Go play, do your thing. But this time I'm telling you, those are not as good. On S&P, for example, I would be looking more for that sell. We've got a 4-hour doji. We've retested that fair value gap, that area of interest, as I call it. We're done. So one great trade. You are profit locked. You should be good. You've hit take profit too. You've got 578 pips is what I've got on mine right now. 578 and running. Who's up in pips on this buy? Who is up in pips on this buy?
I'm up 800.
100 or 800?
800. 842 right now.
Hey, when are you gonna
900.
buy me a car? No. Spence said 100. Ricky, what are you up?
I'm up 600 pips.
Okay. Okay, way to go. Good job, you guys. Good job. Spence said US30 on 1 hour. Tell me more. This is not a 1 hour trade. Let's clarify. The 1 hour signal came in back here. I mean, I guess you could. This is the break of the fractal on that 1 hour trade. Okay.
But Miss Jenny, I'm already on the Howard trade.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, you're already in.
Yeah, I was on pending last night. I was looking at it last night. So
Nice. Okay, look at you, do you? I'm so happy for you. That makes me so happy.
thank you.
Good job. Good job. iPhone 2, what's your name? Guys, lot sizes should be based off of your accounts. And I know it's frustrating because 0.01 per 100 sounds like it makes sense. And there are cycles of the market where that's going to pay you amazingly. But there's enough weeks in the market where that will devastate your account. Like it's just completely demolished. And when it comes to stuff like indices or EAs or copiers, or anything that's automated and out of your physical hands, I'm much more biased to like 0.01 per 1,000, 0.01 per 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 even. That's how you live to trade another day. Because again, if you're getting 5 to 10% a month, you have 10x. Actually, you have 120 times. You have 12x Wall Street. Okay, you've 6x. What Warren Buffett's some of his best times. You're doing amazing, like truly amazing. You just don't have the billions behind you like he had to make it look as sexy. But you can have that much behind you. You can. So that's US30. S&P looks like it's trying to push up a little bit too. Anybody else have a particular looking to take gold sells? What? Mohammed. Let me go look at my gold. I'm in a gold. My take profit has not hit and it is buying. They not to say that it can't pull down because it likely will. To be transparent, guys, on this, hard to talk about this stuff, but this is my class, so I'm going to. On the copier stuff, I would like to be able to include gold because I can scalp gold like no other. The golden strategy, I mostly did on gold and GU. A couple of other people were really great at the other GBP pairs. I mostly did gold and GU, like almost exclusively. Gold has a higher spread, obviously, depending on the broker, obviously, another big factor. But it is so easy to go scalp this and win 90 some odd percentage trades, like 97%. The hard part is mitigating people's margin level. On the Zoom the other day, I was trying to show this gentleman, yes, you can afford that 0.01 or whatever. If you've got 8 pairs running, your margin is fine. It's still like, 1,100, 1,600. But you add a gold trade, it's a 2,000 margin percent difference when you're looking at those baby accounts. This is very expensive and heavy on your margin. So I'm trying to scalp that very, very tight. Lots of trailing stops. Baby wins. Hey, you told us gold was going back up too. Oh, I told you that I'm babysitting your baby. I told you I was in that trade. On my original account, I might have got knocked out. Actually, it's not highlighted. Yep, I got knocked out. I hit my full take profit on that, or my management took me out. Hold on. Let me go to history on this. Let's find out. No, my management took me out of gold on this account. On one of my accounts, on my other accounts, I'm still in it, but it's awesome. You just have to protect it a little bit differently, just like indices, because it messes with your margin so much. It's so expensive. It's very expensive to trade against your margin. So if you're playing with gold or like an indice, there's no shame in getting your couple of pips and getting out. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm very successful in terms of indices and stuff, is because I have no shame in, I'll play with US30 on the big time frames, but I also lock that down. And I can take multiple 10% trades on even on a US30, on a big time frame, because I'm closing out of such a big amount of it so quick. And then when I'm right, I can go get back in on the 1 minute and the 5 minute and go get more and more trades as long as that analysis remains valid. On every pullback, I can go get more entries, meaning I'm getting like a 5-7% gain, 5-7% gain, 5-7% gain. And then the few percent of the time that it actually loses the full amount is very rare. The rest of the time, I've got all these runners and duplicates and other things that are, just killing it, So kind of awesome. Kind of awesome. Not wrong. But yeah, I don't see us selling gold just yet. I mean, look at the size of this move. That's 461 pips. We've retested about almost 50% now. So more than the 38%. I mean, I think we're much more likely to finish, retesting this ADR high. Maybe exactly below the ADR high before we get that. And we might even wick up a little bit further, kind of like 61% retracement. Here, we'll put it on just because. Just because. I think we're very likely to push up slightly higher. That's the 50 to like that 61% retracement before we get the pull down. And then once we get the pull down, it's going to be a decision of whether or not we're going to come up here and clear this void before we sell down, or what have you. So overall, beautiful trade though. Beautiful, beautiful move. So who said they wanted to sell it? Yeah, I gotta go back. Mohammed, what time frame are you looking at? 1 minute? Why are you looking to sell it? There's no wrong answer. Like there really is no wrong answer. But I would like to understand why you want to sell it. Is there a strategy? Is there a reason? Is there anything that you're seeing that maybe I'm not seeing? You have some insight for me to consider, because that's what this is you're allowed to have your different insight. It's just I would like to understand it. Okay. No answer. Anybody else have any pair? Oh, I was looking for a sell too, but only okay. Thank you for your transparency. Just because I didn't think it would fill the imbalance all the way up to allow everyone to sell it down. Well, yeah, okay. So you don't think it's going to fill all of this imbalance? Well, it's filled approximately half of the imbalance so far. And if I pop up a time frame, we are kind of sitting beautifully at previous levels. But this is the 4 hour, if we draw a nice trend line, I'm not saying it's going to happen on these candles. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised to see this nice impulse, a pullback, a spring to retest this trend line. And provided we stay below this trend line after that last spring, so one more wave at least, maybe 2 more waves, then I would be looking to sell it down. But until then, I'm not looking to sell it down. And that's not to say that it's the only way to see it, because it's not. There's lots of ways to see it. There's lots of ways to make these trend lines as well. There's so many different versions. You've got quite a few options. This is the line chart. You've got your 2 touches because of these peaks. That's one that's very far away. I don't think we're coming near that. Here's one that's much closer. Here's one that's going to be further. So the one I'm referencing is in here. We're going to have to change this color. Look at that move. Pushing down right now. Somebody's blowing up some chats. I'm gonna make this white. Oh, no way. I gotta mute that stuff. You guys hear all the ding dongs? All the ding dongs. There you go, Scott. I see you. All from up there. You got plenty. But even only the counting here, I would anticipate something along the line. And it's hard to predict. It's never going to come exactly where you think. I don't mind the pull down, the pull back. I don't know where pull down comes from. That's not a thing. Not a thing. I don't care how many waves it takes us. If it's 2 or 3, I'm guessing it's going to take more than one because gold is gold, right? See how many waves this took? So I'm guessing it's going to take more than one, but maybe another smaller. The second wave is supposedly the biggest. I'm definitely looking for something along these lines. I don't know why my mouse is tripping. I don't mind if we pull, this is optional and I don't have another color. I'm going to mute you, Truman. Is your name Truman? That's cool. I wouldn't mind if we did this or if we skipped these two. Either way, this pullback is going to be a big ask to scalp. Because I would be willing to scalp this if there was some structure here, if there was some order block here, if there was some, what I call areas of interest. And order blocks shift, guys. They shift. They're not as calculable as people like to think. Like I wouldn't mind scalping it if this was happening at an area of interest. I'd say, yeah, we're selling it down real quick because if we're wrong, we're going to get this baby move and then we're going to continue. But trying to scalp it here is like trying to, I don't know, I don't have a good analogy. Somebody smarter than me probably has a great analogy, but it's fishing in the dark because there's nothing right here. So that's for me. Not to say it's the only way. There are other ways. There are other thought processes. But I'm not taking a scalp against this. If anything, I'd put my pending buys. I'd trail this and take another entry because I know we're going to get this pullback. No guarantees that we're going to come test this, but provided we stay below this, I'm still selling. My still major direction is going to sell. And I'm going to buy up until we break and retest this area, which is a lot of pips. But nobody want to hold this long because there's so many moves that happen. Nobody wants to take their really safe 80 to 150 pips and say, LMG does. I'm going to call him out. LMG wants his safe 80 to 150 pips, and he doesn't mind what all the nonsense it does in between, whether it's 50 pips for or against. He doesn't care because he's getting his safe 150, 80 pips. He doesn't care. But most people, if they did buy here, they would be so pissy about this right here, and then it'd pull up and they'd pull down and then they miss the majority of the move. So that's my 2 cents though. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I'll keep this as purple because we kind of marked it up a little bit. Can you check? I'll check CHFJPY. It's big and it's an expensive pair.
One thing about this, the high of the recent push is the 50% retracement of the entire move. So from, here down to there, if you include the wicks on both sides, that's 50%.
Not bad. We're coming in that 50% range. And we're also hit this weekly area. There is something. Scott, this is going to mess yours up a little bit. It wasn't weekly. Maybe it was daily. Let's try that. Let's try daily. Oh, 4 hour. So we are somewhere of interest, kind of. So where price is currently sitting is this previous low. The price has stopped here before. It's not like nothing has happened here. It's just not enough, not enough in real time of things have happened here for me to be super confident. Come on in.
Hey, Sarge. Hey, Jenny, how you doing? Remember the other day I showed you about the weekly support that was on gold that I wanted to break, and I'm seeing here that it did break it and currently it's retesting it now. I think that's the zone you're talking about.
This weekly support.
Yeah, right there.
So we did push below it. So this is the weekly time frame. We broke it. And I would agree, we're retesting that area and we can't see it on this time frame. We can see it here.
Mhm.
We can see where we're testing here. And if I scroll, I wonder if I can make this super ugly. And yes, Robert, I will check Chef JPY. So you can see because of where the gray price line is at, we are testing this level. There is some stuff that's happened in, God, I can't see that date. Hold on. Let's find out now. In November, we stopped in this area. That's a 23. In January, we stopped in this area. So I'm just looking to push a little bit above it, not by a lot. I mean, 150, 200 pips is not a lot, not overall. So that's what I'm personally looking for. And it doesn't mean it's the only way. But who else is like super interested in that sell, just out of curiosity? Anybody? So because Shine, you trade gold probably more than I do, particularly recently. Do you have any insight that you think is relevant to? And I would probably delete these two and just let this all fall where it does. What is your insight? Would you be selling here, or would you be still willing to scalp it down, but still looking for a little bit more upside?
Or
Okay.
waiting is a valid option as well.
True. Oh, very true. Very, very true. You're unmuted, but no sound.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay, great. Yes, now I think that it will sell. It is a good opportunity to sell to test the Asian range, and if it breaks the Asian range, it might actually continue selling because I seen that it like yesterday it was like I think yesterday or 2 days ago, before the big sell, it was supposed to retrace a little higher than that, but it didn't retrace all the way. So I think it's selling early, and especially because it broke that weekly zone and it's retesting that zone. If it gives me an opportunity to sell, I will definitely sell it just to see if it'll break the Asian session range and go below that Asian session range and keep pushing down. And if it do, it's gonna be a big sell. And if it's gonna go, I know for sure it's gonna go back to the Asian session range. And if it bounce off the Asian session range, then we're gonna continue the high to fill up the 4 hour fair value gap, actually go back to the range where it first broke off to, and then sell off, or like you said, to the ultimate swing highs in the dailies and before breaking off. But I think that it might sell off, even giving us a double bottom on the 4 daily. What is it, daily? Let me see. No, on the 4 hour, giving us a double bottom or at least a higher low to start off the buying trend to eventually fake out everybody to ultimately dump off. That's what I think.
Okay, so one argument I have in the case of it continuing to sell earlier than I'm anticipating is what we saw happen on the dollar this morning. So like something to argue in defense of against my current narrative, which my current narrative says we've got more room to the upside before we sell down. And it doesn't mean a lot. It might just mean some. But one of those cases against is look at the US dollar. When the US dollar, actually it's only another 81-ish pips. And if we do break, it's another 140, 50-ish pips.
Right. That's if we do break. Like I'm ready for both sides. Like I do agree with your statement, and I do have that drawn out in my maps too, but in a different way. But I do see it going up and retracing a little higher. But if it doesn't break the zone and eventually give us a double top after the double bottom, I think it's gonna continue lower. But well, the best option is to wait.
We'll see. We've got a 1 hour trade idea from the golden strategy. So in theory, you have a very high likelihood that this is going to hit 3 ATR from this point. Okay, very high likelihood that you're going to hit, well, we'll say 1 to 3 ATR. from right here. So the ATR in this time frame is 37 pips. Oh my goodness, girl. Get it together. This office. Okay. Try this again. We've got 37-ish pips. So to give us an idea, we're going to come, in theory, approximately, and actually that's actually too high because we should be using the base of this other candle. You've got a very high likelihood of getting approximately to 2013. And 2013 is going to line up with this low. So we'll see. And it's going to be cool. It's not about who's right or wrong or blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's just cool to come here on Tuesday and say, wait, how did this play out? What did it do? Because I would agree, of
Right.
course, if it breaks below, if it breaks this level below, I mean, that analysis is no longer valid. If we break the low and retest it, we're continuing this sell side. But this
Right.
is a lot of big money left behind.
And I just want to say something about your baby, US30. It actually moves really, really clean right now. And I really do think gold is gonna start selling off earlier than usual because US30, like I had something marked up and for the 4 hour where it first broke off at and actually tested that zone before the gold and gold and the US30, I see they do move correlated. So if US30 starts selling off right now and breaks this trend line, because I see US30, it do has to come back and test the Asian session range as well. But I see that the Asian session range is really close to the trend line that I drew. So if it breaks that trend line as well as the Asian session range, I think gold is gonna do the same thing.
Okay. Well, this is going to be cool to come look.
Yeah.
Alexander, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I love our community and I love everything that's becoming as well. I'm very excited about the community. So, hey, we got a question in the chat from Robert. You want to go look at CHFJPY? Let's go see. And then this is it. Unless one more pair, if y'all have one more pair, and I don't want to spend too much time. We've already chilled for an hour. So I'm going to go up a time frame. This is our daily. This is a ton of money. Now, granted, Chef, in my opinion, has just been a very interesting pair to trade. The hard part is this one does not have the same, this does not have a super high put value as opposed to like some of the other Chef pairs. But I don't know that it messes with your margin more or not. I can't say that. But this is the daily. So big ascending channel, right? We whipped out of it. We stayed in that uptrend and still have yet to retest any of this. Better yet, this high. Again, we made another higher high. We failed to make a lower low. So uptrend all the way. Granted, this is all the way at the weekly. Now, if we keep looking at this, look at the amount of divergence. And this is on a weekly level divergence. That is not nothing. It is a huge deal. Okay, weekly divergence, big deal. It was one thing to get that like on the 1 minute or something, but we're talking about, the very small time frames, okay? The very large time frames, I should say. That's a huge value of not necessarily the reversal, but of a decent retracement. And figure retracement on the weekly is a lot of pips. The ATR here is 300 pips. So just so we can all, address that openly. Let's go down a little bit. Let's go to the daily. Daily, we're also continuing to see lots and lots of divergence. This right here kind of pays for some of this. Now, of course, we're pushing back up. We're still respecting the daily fractal as we speak. We did, though, we're forming a nice little candle pattern. We're pushing up as long as we're staying kind of above this fractal or this high. We still have a lot of selling pressure potential. Look what happened with the other JPY pairs. It doesn't mean that they're all going to be correlated, though. Does not mean that. Let's keep going. Daily. 4 hour. 4 hour, we got this beautiful double bottom. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, make it ugly. We made a lower low. We're still failing to break this low. Here's our trend line. We're retesting it now. I want to see how this candle closes. We've got 3 hours left on it, so I don't mind the spring that this makes. I really want to see how the candle closes around this trend line, this downward, but upper trend line, okay? I don't mind a spring. That's going to kick everybody's butt. I don't mind that. I still want to see this sell down a little bit. Go ahead.
Gasping for air. So
But it's part of it, especially when you're on the bigger time frame. Like definitely is always going to be part of it. And there's just no way around it. Hold on, let's go here.
Yeah, when I looked on the 1 hour, it looks like it's getting ready to go back up again. Wow.
The 4 hour, let's see the
Currency strength on the daily for this, the Swissy and the yen. Swissy is slightly stronger, but they're both weakening. So they're below neutral, and Swissy is slightly edging up right now. So you know, they're both weak currencies at the moment.
well, that should be fun just to see who's a little bit weaker or stronger, huh?
Who wins the boxing match?
Yep.
I
which
just
one wins the
wanna know-
ugly contest.
I just want to know if you thought it was actually going to go down at some point.
I do. I'm still pretty in, so let's get off of this because sometimes when you're in it, it's harder to see. Let's go to, gosh, I know which one to go to. EuroCAD. EuroCAD's another great example. Nice descending channel. Beautiful. Made a spring. Okay, still stayed there. We're really slow to move up. Look how fast the sell happens. Fast the sell happens. Very slow to move up. And that's never fun. Very slow to move up. Even if I take off the auto scroll and I just come over to the left a little, it's this is nice and clean. But the moves to the downside seems to happen really quick. And I have this theory that I don't want to entertain today, but remind me to talk about the positive and negative swap fees and the direction of the pairs maybe next week. I think it's a great conversation to have. But either way, we'll see. I'd like to see this buy up. This is the 4 hour. We're in buyer's territory. It's just not going to happen in the way people want. Now, I get DMs all the time. Some people have been buying up. So like even if they took, let's just say this entry, they'll take another entry. They not only closed and broke even, but they made profit. Let's say they took another entry and they just keep buying it up over and over again. We're still respecting this area. This little wick, this little spring sweep of all the stop losses is the only thing that would knock you around a little bit. Otherwise, we keep trying to move up. And even now, this isn't appealing, but you've got your impulse, momentum, bullish candle. I mean, full engulfing candle. We're retesting 50% of it. We want to see this move to the upside. It's not, it's definitely not too bad. So I still think it has room. It's just, you have to sit through this part. You have to sit through this part, and this is hard to sit through. It's a lot of days. And if you bought even here, let's go mid-ground. You were in profit for a second, you came down, okay, because of the amount of emotional capital you've got invested, you likely got out with almost nothing instead of actually holding to pay you for your whole move. 150-ish pips, even to the low. I'm going slightly above. That's 85-ish pips. So it's just a different, it's hard. It's hard sitting through drawdown. But drawdown is your friend. Its profits are loading. That's it. We don't count blue screens or whatever YouTube tries to make us think is important. I'm gonna mute you guys. Because YouTube, it's not important. The blue screens are not important. You can have a blue screen that says $7 million. If it ain't closed, it ain't yours. You can have a red screen that says negative $7 million. If it ain't closed, it ain't gone, right? Excuse my broken language, but seriously, we have to get over the super extreme emotional attachment to the open trades. We're monitoring this like we would some of y'all are computer super smart, way smarter than me. Like you do digital stuff for a living, like cybersecurity and like, I don't know, digital stuff of some kind. Your job is to follow the rules of your system, manage the rules of your system, ensure your margin is safe, right? Withdraw at the end of the week or every 2 weeks, right? Review your trade journals and your trade logs, look for imperfections and strengths and weaknesses, areas to improve. And then next week you report back to your office and you do the same thing. All of the data, the open trades is nothing. Like take that off of your mind. It has nothing. You want to track your margin, cool, you're good. You take your trades, you follow your rules, you manage it. That is the entire process. And if more people could make the process that simple, it's easy to take this sell. It's easy to capitalize 15 times. I know one guy took like 20 some odd trades in here. Seriously. and won the vast majority of them. I know another guy, he said he took a couple, I don't know how many. It's crazy. So it's just a matter of how you do it. But okay, that's it. We've got US30, not a whole bunch of trades this week. You should be up. How many pips are you guys up on US30? How many dollars are you guys up on US30 right now? One trade. One trade. Oh, I'm gonna go to S&P actually. S&P. Yeah, it's not moving the same as US30. Not even a little bit. I closed for 1,700 pips, guys. 1,700 pips. At a 0.01, that's $170. Well, depending on your broker and 100 other variables, it is a lot of money. Depending on your broker and 100 other variables, it is a lot of money. Anybody else? Who else has any pips? Any pips, profits, dollars from US30? CHFJPY is pushing up too. Pushing up.
I'm up 1,700, still holding though.
Still holding. Okay. LMG, do you mind if I ask, is your profit locked?
Oh, I've trailed, locked, and exiting at the same time.
Okay.
So it's a risk-free trade now.
There you go. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys, if anybody has any other Forex pairs that you desperately want to look at, we will go take a look. Otherwise, anybody at all, Forex pairs, kind of analyze gold. I'm excited to come back and see, hey, this is not about perfection or who's right or wrong, but how did this play out in a couple of days? I'm excited to go hash that out with you guys here shortly. But any other pairs that you guys are desperate to look at today? It's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. Look at that beautiful move.
I think tomorrow there's PPI coming out, and I'd probably look at that with gold for news trading, because I think there's been some of the sell has been because like the US strength. So if that comes out again tomorrow, I would probably use that as an opportunity to sell off golds.
So if tomorrow might be the anticipated sell, today might be the completion of that buy.
Yeah, because I think what I noticed about this month is like NFP and I think CPI both came out strong. So if PPI also like comes out strong as well, that's like a fair confirmation on dollar strength and not raising interest rates anytime soon. So that would be a good continuation.
What is your name?
Oh, sorry. Ijoma, I'm new.
Ijoma, well, welcome. First off, I love your insight. You do a lot of news?
Yeah, like this morning I took a GBP USD trade off the news for GBP weakness. It doesn't always work out on news, but I think with like USD and GBP pairs, it tends to work out pretty well. And same with Swiss as well.
Okay. And I would love to have you come out one day and just share. I don't do news. I'm really good at technical. I'm really good at keeping things simple. And I think that helps a lot of people in its own way. But I also know some people really need to consider the news. I know some people really need to do they have various ways of doing what they do. So any extra insight, I'm super open to, because as a community, I think it helps people. It adds to what they know, and they can pick and choose. They can say, hey, wait, I love this style, or I hate knowing that. And that's okay. But I would love to hear from it. I would love to hear from it. Edward, USD Chef is still pushing down. Full disclaimer, on many of my accounts, I'm still in that trade.
Oh yeah, me too. On both accounts. That sucker's looking sexy.
Yeah, it's doing really well.
Here.
I'm still in that trade, but some of the accounts I'm not. Don't ask me why. Don't know nothing. Just system. It just is. So I just adjust.
Somebody just moved their take profit.
I just moved my stop. So that sound is
okay.
Yeah. Moving
that
my
was yours. Okay. Never mind. See how quick it is?
So that's the demo account attached to this particular VPS. So we'll see. Anyways, all right, guys, that's all I've got today. Gold is still pushing up. My trailing stop officially knocked me out on one of my accounts. So my other account was knocked out earlier with my management. That's the ATM. And then the other one, I applied a trailing stop as we got that wick. Cool. I'm out of it. It is what it is. Actually, I think I still have one position on a bigger account with LQD. that is still holding it, but it's locked, and I'm going to hold it until it hits my take profit. Or I'll check it later today because it just has more, that account has a lot more room. So that is all I've got in terms of trades. Got a couple of good talks in terms of different pairs. That's a good time. I hope that you guys take some of these analysi, whatever word, and go look at them. They're not meant to be an oracle. They're not meant to be, oh my gosh, she's so wrong, or oh my God, she's always right. I never want people to think of it that way. I want people to look at it and see what they can gain, how they can use it, how they can add to it, how they can subtract from it, simplify, right? Simplify is always better. But ultimately, with the idea of, gaining in your skill set. So that's all I've got. My mouth has runneth over. It is 12 minutes past when I wanted to be done talking. Today we have something super, super special for you guys. It has been long awaited. It's been a long time since we have got the chance to hear from some of the other members. And I'd like to do this more. So if you are a member who has been working with me for a long time and are having any kind of success, I don't care if it's prop firm challenges. I don't care if it's personal growth that you made 40%. I don't care what the methodology is, or little gains or big gains, time, freedom, or money. It doesn't matter. Whatever your successes are, I'd like to have you come out and just help me help people. Tell me and tell others what are some of the things you're doing, how you're doing them, etc. So forth. So with that in mind, Rickey, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. I'm going to take a couple minutes to introduce you, and then I'm going to let you have the floor and just mostly stay quiet. I'm also going to ask, I keep an open room as a hangout. I'm going to ask you guys to honor him while he's talking and not be kind of chiming in with anything. You can wait till the end to ask your questions. But Rickey, he's going to introduce himself as well. But I'm just going to say it has been an honor to work with him over the last few years. It has been a very humbling and beautiful opportunity to watch him come from somebody, again, who's brilliant. I mean, intelligent beyond belief, but was still struggling in trading, right? Had done all the things, had spent all the huge amounts of money, had spent many, many years, decades even, in trying to get this. And it took coming here to this little old group. And I know I got told yesterday I need to value this a lot higher for what it's worth. But this group is what helped turn them around. So working with me helped him change every single thing in terms of his trading, changed how he's working with prop firms, and led him ultimately to be able to successfully link, I think it was 7 accounts, over 7 figures, and a whole bunch of other things. But not only that, he's been able to do that with real life stuff happening, real life problems, real life health things, and still maintain his energy, still maintain his skill set through everything life has thrown. And that's just something that I think is a rare trait in many of us. So it's a beautiful opportunity to work with him. Without further ado, I'm going to shut up. I'm also going to hit stop share so you can share your screen, okay? Your computer screen. And are you ready for that? And then let you kind of introduce yourself and tell us about what you're doing and take your questions and all that good jazz.
Yes, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. And before I start too, I still wanted to do this for you because I made a promise to you and I like to keep my commitments. But I won't be able to stay as long as I really wanted to today.
That's okay.
I'm in the tech world and I'm senior director of software engineering, so I don't get days off. I'm always on call. We've got some big problems I got to get to, but I'm still gonna go through this today, and hopefully we can.
Okay.
Hopefully someone can get something good out of it and learn from it.
There you go.
Let me share.
Stop share.
Okay, and let me start sharing my screen.
Hey, listen, other than the hangout part of all this, trading actually doesn't take too long. Answering messages be taking long. Customer service and other things and helping people with non-sensory, that takes long. But trading and even like telling you exactly what I'm doing, it doesn't take that long, y'all. It really doesn't. It's like, here, this is it. Ta-da.
Right. And it's not going to take long at all either to show what I do. Trying to find the screen where I have all these charts. So let me know if y'all can see.
I see Ricky started sharing. There's always a lag. Look at all that blue.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So now do you all see the screen with the 3 charts up and my mouse moving here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That's the screen I want to show. All right. So, first, yes, little background for those who don't know who I am. I've started trading when I was 18. I've been trading for going on 24 years now, and I wasn't successful at it for a while, but I didn't give up on it. And oops, sorry. Let me turn this. Oh, sorry. Cashing out for money as we speak. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. All right, so yes, I started trading. I wasn't successful, and spent a lot of money, joining different groups and on training. I spent $25,000 on a 2-week training course. Trained by some hedge fund managers who had started their own, trading group, and still wasn't successful there. And just, I didn't understand it at the time, but being part of this group, I understood that, a big part of me not being able to, you know, um, grasp and understand what was going on was because, like Miss Jenny always says, there's a lot of strategies out there, but not many of them are duplicatable. And I think that was one of the problems I was having, is that I couldn't duplicate what others were doing that was training me, because we all see the markets differently, and and so it just wasn't working for me. But I did still get a lot of value and learn a lot of things, how the market works and everything. Learn candlesticks, price action, everything I needed to really know and have a good foundation on trading. I learned it, and that was good, and it was worth the time and money spent. However, the profitability part of it was the hardest part. It's like, okay, now that you know and understand all of this, how can you become profitable at it and consistently profitable at it? So that's the game-changing thing, to where that, when I ended up finding myself here in this group, that's when I learned how to um, uh, actually trade better, more conservatively, and with more discipline, more rules based, and really start to, um, uh, once I started learning, Miss Jenny's strategy, it's a proven strategy. And so, and it's duplicatable, and you can make it into your own, strategy. And so it's so powerful. It's helped me to become consistently profitable now. I started off when I first joined the group, um, down $100,000 negative, over the course of those years, 22 years, well, 20, 21 years before I joined the group, just losing money. And then now I'm up 6 figures, and highly profitable now. And what I'm about to go over here real briefly is not my strategy. It's my execution of Miss Jenny's strategy, and how I made it my own, and how I look at the markets differently. There's 2 things I'll show you, because today is really a good example, in a live setting, of how I look at the market and how I'm able to catch these flips. And I trade US30, and before I start, it may have been Robert or someone last week, as if what I will be showing applies to other, instruments. And I think I said no, but I got to thinking about it last night, and I was like, no, you know what I'm about to show you actually can apply to any instrument. The thing is just that you will need to adjust the EA settings, I'm sorry, these EMA settings, to fit that instrument. I've stuck with the 3 and 9 and the 50 because it's perfect for US30, and which is all I trade on my own. But you can apply these tactics of what I'm about to show you to other instruments, but test it out in demo and back test until you adjust the EMAs to fit that instrument. So where the 9 is, on this US30, you may need to move that up or down to fit the instrument that other instruments you're trading. And where the 3 is, you may need to adjust that. But the 50 is the 50, so you can keep that the same. Or adjust, or instead of a 50, maybe it's a different um, MA that fits better than a 50 for that instrument. So, play around and adjust it to fit your instrument. And I believe that what I'm about to show you is can be applied to any instrument. So get to the point. The first thing I'm going to show you is why I took the trade. I didn't take it just because I'm trading with Miss Jenny today. I'll take it because in addition to trading Miss Jenny, she was looking at the market and, called out this buy based on what she saw, but it just happened to line up with what I saw. And as you can see, this is an example of me trading with multiple time frames, and I use different monitors so I can see the full bigger screen. But I put these on one monitor so that way you can see what multi-time frame analysis looks like of how I'm doing it. I have the 4-hour, and then sometimes I may switch to the day on here, but I have the 4-hour chart, 1 hour, and then the 5-minute chart. And so today you can see how I like finding trends, and before I enter the market, I want to know what the long-term trend is and what the short-term trend is. Or when I say short-term, I mean how has the market been trending today or over the last, few hours, especially what's happening after the 3-9 cross, like what's happening here. And so my rules were met. And one example of why I took this trade today is because on the 4-hour here, and if you can't see this good enough, let me know and I'll blow this up. Actually, let me just do that now. So as you can see here, we got a 3-9 cross on the 4-hour chart, and this currently has been trending up. Okay. Note and always understand that there's trends within trends. We're trending up here, then we start trending down short term. Now we're trending back up. And then we're probably gonna, get another drop later and trend back down. Or it may break and make all new highs and start trending up again. So when I look at trends, I'm looking at them as a scalper, short term. What's happening within the last few days or within the last few hours. And after, there has been a 3-9 cross on the higher time frames, what is the market doing? Because I've seen these last few 4-hour candles trending up after the 3-9 cross. This morning, as Ms. Jenny was checking the trade, I noticed this wick starting to happen here against the 9 EMA. I like taking rejections from the 9 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and I like scalping the 4-hour candles because as you can see, there's a lot of pips to be gained from these 4-hour candles. On average, they're anywhere from 1,500 to, sometimes like this, one candle is over 3,000 pips. So I noticed the rejection from the 9 EMA, and it was pushing up, and it was going in the direction of the current short-term trend. And so that's the first confirmation for myself that I look for, but there was more. I also looked at the 1-hour chart. What was the 1-hour chart doing? It was doing the same thing. rejections from the 9, got a rejection here, and retest it again, rejected up. And then we made another 1 hour candle high here, even though it had a wick, it still made another high. Then we retested previous low. Then we started getting another wick here coming out of the 9. So that's my second confirmation that, okay, we possibly may be starting to see an uptrend here shortly and possibly retest this area where price previously broke out of, retest up here or here. So I was like, oh, there's enough room, close to 2,000 pips room for me to, scalp into that. And so everything Ms. Jenny was looking at was lining up with my personal rules. So I said, you know what? My final confirmation, let me go down to the 5-minute chart and then look for an entry and see if the 5-minute chart entry rules meets my rules. And yes, we got a 5-minute golden strategy entry here. Arrow, green bars, ADX, and this purple line is my favorite. The slow moving MACD was going up, crossing back up. And we got these 2 rejections here. And so, of course, I entered here because I was looking at the higher time frame rejection, and then just wrote that up, Well, not all the way. I got out around here at 1,700 pips right here because this, as a scalper, that was the main level that I was looking to hit. And so I made my money today. I'm done. I'm not trading anymore today. And that's all I wanted to do. And it's just that simple, find a direction of what works for you, of where price is possibly going, and then use the 5-minute golden strategy entry to get in on the trade. And you could have even gotten in on a more conservative move by, I don't recommend entering how I enter because I do what I do because I've been doing it for so long now. I know what I'm doing, and I'm also willing to take a loss if I'm wrong. But for anyone that's new, trying to test this method out, if you believe, if you go through that step on a 4-hour, 1-hour time frame and say, oh, okay, I see what he's seeing, let me test that out. Don't try and don't try and time the bottoms or time the tops. You can take the more conservative entries for this 5-minute golden strategy once it's set up. As you can see, this big candle broke this previous bearish candle. You could have, and it was crossing the 5-minute 50. You could have entered here, or you could have waited till this candle closed as extra confirmation, and then took even an entry here for a more conservative move. That's a break of structure. Now, these candles were a break of structure as well here, but this is another structure that's even more conservative. You could have even taken that and wrote it up to that next level, and you would have known that this is a key level here if you were looking at the higher time frames. And so even with a more conservative entry, that's still almost 900 pips. That's almost 1,000 pips. But you don't even need that much because, as Ms. Jenny has showed us time and time again, how, look, you got your 300 pips here. If you did this 45 times, you can be at 5 figures, 6 figures by compounding, very conservatively, by waiting for these good, what I call high probability trade setups for the golden strategy entries, and this method is how I get around, especially if you're new and you're still trying to learn the golden strategy, and you're like, hey, we got an arrow here. How do you know not to take that? Well, you still could have. You still could have made money if you were scalping and getting out like you're supposed to. You still could have made your 300 pips there. But to me, that's not a high probability trade setup for what I'm looking for, because I know that this is going to happen because I'm looking at the higher time frame. So I don't even want to take a chance on taking that, even though it's a winner. It's not worth the risk to me. Even though this is a 1-to-1 and it's a winner, but I'm looking for the little bit larger moves, at least 1,000 pips. So that way, it's so much easier to get, your 300, 400, 500 pips on these larger moves like this than entering in on the wrong direction, because sometimes these don't work out like this, and I don't want to get chopped up as a scalper in this. So how I avoid these arrows where it's saying it's going down, but it's not really going down. How I avoid that is by looking at the higher time frames. We're trending up. 3-9 cross, rejections from the 9, pushing up. 1 hour chart, same thing. We're making higher highs with these 1 hour candles. So why are you looking for a sale? It doesn't make sense to me. So that's how, and I wish, someone had explained that to me when I first started learning the golden strategy. So that's why I'm glad I'm able to, help. Well, hopefully this can help with other newbies coming in, learning the golden strategy. Because one of the key things is, like, when you first learn it, it's like, man, you're getting so many signals. It's like, how do you know which one to take? Well, that's what works for me. Is looking at all of these charts at the same time, because in that time I'm also able to enter so well as I am, because when I see this rejection here, and I'm also getting confirmation on the 1 hour, and then I start seeing this these wicks here on the 5 minute, and then this crossover on the 5 minute chart here, and I get my arrow. I mean, it's like every single day I trade the same way, and it's win after win after win after win. Yes, sometimes we lose, but the majority of the time it's just winners after winners after winners. And as a scalper, take your money and get out. If you're swinging, or if you're a long-term trade investor, yeah, you'll want to keep holding, but and ride. Maybe you're looking to ride it all the way up here, or maybe if you enter in this way, and then you're using Mr. Scott's ATM. You can once you enter, let's go back to the 5 minute chart. And so let's say if you did, take a conservative, golden strategy on a 5 minute entry here, and you want to hold, possibly, if you believe price is going to continue, this would have been a 5 minute entry here. And maybe you think, you want to ride this out and let the ATM manage your trade for you. If it does go all the way back to the top here, that's 4,000 pips possibly. But even if it doesn't get there, this is 2,000 pips that it's already moved. But so whether you're scalping like me, you should be looking at different levels to get out and take your profits. You could take full profits, or you can scale out however you do. I personally open multiple positions, but when you're new, or if you have a smaller account, it may be best to just only trade one position and then scale out percentages of those positions, as you go deeper and deeper into profit. But as your account grows, or if you have a, big enough prop firm account, I personally would have, if I was looking for a large move like this, which I wasn't today, but if I was expecting, price to, move quite a bit of a distance, then I would maybe have 4 or 5 positions open. And then as each level was hit, like this level was hit, I would have closed out on 1 or 2 of those positions. And then as the next level was hit, I'm closing out another 2. And then as this final level is hit, I'm closing out the rest. So that's how I scale out, because it's more, I make more money that way. I guess maybe it's greedy, but that's what works for me, because then I get to take those full profits and see higher profits that way. But you choose to scale out how you want. And then I will go over one more other good thing. This was a really good example that I found this morning. It covers so many different things, and I thought it was kind of perfect. to go over using the same analysis that I use here. This move on the 13th, many of us caught this move down. And I thought this would be, and the other reason why I thought this would be good to talk about is because, sometimes we get, even recently, someone in our Discord community even questioned, how did you, and it was a really good question. I'm glad it was asked. Alimji and myself, we've been eating on US30 the past few days. And someone asked, how did you take that trade with so much confidence and know, this wasn't the trade he was referring to yesterday. It was a different trade, but the question is still a good question and applies to what I'm about to show you. When he asked, how did you take these trades with so much confidence and know, what was about to happen, and actually take that trade and invest into that move? Well, I answered my way, and Lindsay answered his, and we gave two different answers. And the trade that we took yesterday, we entered a little differently, but we was in the same direction and we was both eating. So it's like, it doesn't matter whether you're swinging, long-term trading, or scalping. Find what works for you, and we're all, making money the same way. But this is how I want to answer this question for this person even more today, showing my analysis to show my confidence as a visual. So the 4 hour, hold on, before I start, let me get back to it on the 5-minute chart here. 1 second. That's it. Here we go. Because especially with US30, but like I say, this can happen on any instrument, what I'm about to show you, but I trade US30, so that's why I'm on this right now. But I see, sometimes, people missing a lot of good moves. And so hopefully what I'm about to show you can help you not miss moves anymore using Miss Jenny's golden ticket and golden strategy. So I was looking here at this time, and this candle, before it made this large drop, had already started to, go down and make its, 3-9 crossover. I was also seeing on a hard time frame, okay, we're not moving back up yet. We're not making our highs anymore. You could have also simply
Yeah, but that was news, so I don't know about that.
Yep. And now let me show you how and that's
Well,
another
it was
reason.
news and stuff like this, and when she said she was going up with it, I was like, no, Jenny was going down.
Yeah. And
And
so
went up and was like, no, that's down, Jenny.
1 second. And so I'm gonna show you. This has been trending down. And so first I was on my 4 hour. I'm like, okay, well, it's trending down, but remember this candle here, right here, this big one hadn't happened yet in my example, so it could have easily went back up. When you're in a live environment, you don't know what's about to happen. But I'm gonna show you how I take these kind of big monstrous trades with strong confidence using this golden ticket, which is a scalper's dream. I keep saying that. And like, I don't need any other strategy or anything else. No other, man, this golden ticket is just life-changing for me. But once I got my direction here, I still needed more. You know, I still needed more information. So then I started looking at the 1 hour. Once again, we're not making our highs with the we're not making our highs here on the 1 hour. We're making lower lows on the 1 hour. You know, this kind of was lower than this one. Then we went into a little consolidation, and then it still dropped again. And then went back up and retested, and then we dropped again. And so I'm like, okay, you know what this is telling me is that the market's still pushing down. So I'm not looking for a buy. You know, it could have went up, but I just didn't see it happening. And then we got a rejection from this 9. And as you can see here, rejection from the 9, rejection from the 9, rejection from the 9. And then, so I'm already biased towards the downside on this. And so now let's look at what it looks like on a 5-minute and how it's so easy to catch. And I say that, but I know that's subjective using that word easy, but for me, learn how to use where are the objects? Sorry. This chart is undocked. So anyways, I'll just use this. I was going to draw a box around this consolidation area, but I'll just use this horizontal line here. But you could have drawn a box around this consolidation area, or you could have just set a horizontal line below and above here. Oh, is there?
Nope, I'm wrong.
Don't see a box. But yeah, it's undocked, so it's I can't get to the files from here, but it's fine. But you could have, you know, let's do this. Boom.
So Ricky, if you're trying to do a box, go to insert. There should be insert in your chat. When you go to insert, you see those stuff there. If you zoom off the chat and you go to insert, you should see it there. On the top where they said view files and all those stuff, there's something should be there, insert. And if you go there,
it is because I'm undocked. I think because I tried it before the call, because I'm undocked, it still wouldn't allow me to bring these. Yeah, because I'm on MT5 and I've undocked this chart to so it's its own webpage, and so it wouldn't let me bring the objects over. But that's fine. But that's fine. You can still draw a horizontal line. This works just fine. You know, find the top and bottom of this consolidation. And so just to recap, to make this smooth understanding, my 4-hour analysis, we're trending down. We're starting to get the 3-9 cross. On the 1-hour chart, we're not making any higher highs. And again, we're trending down. There's the 3-9 cross coming way before this candle. And then it crossed back up, but it still did. It failed to make a higher high. And then it made a lower low again. And it crossed 3-9 cross again. So that tells me this is looking kind of bearish. And so drop down to the 5-minute. And then I had my, you know, this consolidation area was looking here. And then how hard is it to have a pending order set right below here? If you based on the hard time frame analysis, you have your bias of possibly to the downside, even if you're wrong. That's 1,200 pips. You know, at $1 a pip, that's only $120. You know, at a 0.01, if it's $1 a pip. If you lost this and it came back up and busted past this previous structure here. So let's say at $1 a pip, you risked $120. But look, depending on which level you would have gotten out, you know, if you would have gotten out here, that's 120 at risk to make 300 or 455. Or if you're using an ATM, ATM probably would have made you, you know, even more, you know, $625 just off of $1 pip. You don't have to hit it hard with, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 pip on the indices. Even if you have $100,000 account, just do $1 a pip, and so that way you're not, if you're wrong, you're not losing thousands of dollars. Now of course, yeah, I was in at like $30, $40 pip, but I've been doing this for so long, I'm comfortable doing that. And I trust my analysis based on the go-to ticket because I've mastered this stuff. Now, yes, do I lose big sometimes? Yeah. But then I make it back the next day because I keep doing the same thing every day. And if I win 10 times in a row and then I do that same strategy again the next day, I may lose big. But then the next day, I don't get scared because I lost. I apply the same techniques and then, boom, hit another lick like this. And there you go. So it was a really good risk reward to ratio. And even if you didn't want to have a pennant order, especially if news is coming out or whatever, because you're scared of getting whiplash and going back the opposite direction, you could have placed a manual entry here, a market order as this was breaking out, and said if it goes back up, I'm gonna manually close out, but otherwise, I'm gonna ride this down and caught it that way, or which is a little more riskier, or what you could have done is said, hey, I'm going to stay conservative. So a conservative way of catching this, and this is the next part of why I wanted to show you all this move, because many of you, especially new people, you hear us say all the time, get in on a retest, get in on a retest, or if you've taken your money here or here, take your money, exit out, let the market retest, and then get back in. And you hear the word retest, 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 but we don't really show you a lot of times what that retest looks like. So I'm about to show you what it looks like to me. It may look a little different to everyone else, but here's how I catch my retest. If you would have wanted to wait until this big move happened as confirmation, and then entered on a retest to catch some of this move, let me show you how you can catch large moves like this a little safer than just getting in all willy-nilly just because it's dropping, and just jumping in blindly. Here's a more safer way to do it. So as you see this big drop happening and you wanted to get in on some of this candle, because maybe this 4-hour candle is the only time period you're going to be able to make your money, because this is the time period that's within your trading time frame for the day before, before you got to go to work or go to bed or whatever, or before it's the end of your day or whatever time zone that you're in. Here's one way of doing it, of getting in on a retest. So that's the candle here on the 4-hour. Look at what the 1-hour did. If you missed the initial move, which was this first huge drop, let me move this red line here so you can see the candles better. All right, so if you missed this initial drop, you got the 3-9 cross, perfect golden strategy set up here. You got your arrows, slow MACD crossover, all these green bars, all the rules are hitting. Here's what a possible retest look like here. You see this wick here on this 1-hour candle? It started wicking and pulling back from this 3 EMA. Okay. You could have entered in here on this 1-hour candle. And now, as you say, as you may be asking, well, how would I know how to enter in on this 1-hour candle retest? 5 minutes. Look at this. Hold on, let me put them back side to side for you, because this is very important. And this is how I'm able to do it. Because I'm looking at multiple charts and time frames at the same time. If you only have one screen up and you flipping back and forth between multiple time frames, you're not going to be able to really see this stuff and like see what the big picture is telling you, because your eyes is constantly readjusting to the different time frame you clicked on. That's why I have them all up and I can see it at the same time. And you can see, oh, you know, on a 1 hour, a new candle started. I'm wicking from this 3 EMA here. And then you will see this wick here on the 5-minute chart over here. Look what it did. So you could have seen that wick coming down from the 3, and you can see it, candles went sideways for a little bit. You could have entered right at the break of here, and then boom, there you go, 2,000 pips. How hard was that? And look at the risk reward ratio. Right above it, it's like only a little bit over 500 pips you risking to make 2,000 pips. So even at $1 a pip, you're risking $50 to make $200. I'm taking that all day long. And then guess what? If you, as a scalper, as I'm taking this move, I'm out. Once it starts to come back up like this, 2,000 pips, I'm out. And guess what? If you want to get back in and scalp it and keep riding it again, well, how do you do that? Oh, okay, easy. You see these candles here on the 1 hour chart? These two went back up. Guess what? They started retesting the 3 EMAs. It just started dropping again. Oh, how do I test that drop? How do you know that this is happening? It's because I'm looking at all of the time frames at the same time. And so as I'm looking at the 1 hour and seeing these rejections, look what's happening on the 5-minute. Oh, it's just retesting the 50, And so you'll see that these two 1 hour candles here was this here on the 5-minute. Okay. And then you can see this drop happening right here on this candle, right here as it kissed the 50. And then you could have even entered, a more conservative interest as it's kissing and rejecting. Look, break of structure right here. You could have entered more conservatively here and rolled it down for another 3,800 pips. Oh my gosh. Look at that, and, you risking, that would have been a risk of.
And just to clarify, you guys, I'm going to chime in for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
3 and 9 cross. That's the bias. So for those of y'all who've been around a long time, a lot of my retests, I really want them to actually touch the 50 or interact. But the 3 and 9 cross was originally one of them. The fast MACD, slow MACD, again, originally one of the re-entries. And that's he's just using the higher time frame 3 moving average to say, hey, wait, we had some bullish, we've got some bearish action, boom. But mind you, that's not going to happen. The bearish isn't going to happen until here. But you have done a phenomenal job. I want to ask a question, though, because a lot of the people who want to hear more from you are really talking about social trading tools, the linking, the prop firms, and that sort of thing. So can you spend a few minutes, because I know you have other things to do as well, but a few minutes talking about that particular aspect of what you're doing in terms of being able to manage all these props, link them, what you're doing for settings on, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I actually got so, man, I get so pumped talking about this stuff because it's like once you see it and you master it, man, it's just like unbelievable the profit you can extract from these markets. So I got a little, and I kind of actually went longer than what I wanted to because I really need to get going, but to get back to these issues at work. But I don't have the time to pull up any more screens and show anything yet. But
Okay.
I can, but I can do that another time.
Okay.
But I can talk through it, as a verbal. Sorry. Yeah, my phone's starting to blow up now. I can talk through it a little bit today, and it's like when I have many different personal accounts, and I have a few prop firm accounts, but I'm still building up my prop firms right now because I'm trying to get to 10. That's my magic number, but you don't have to get that high. It's like you don't have to go too crazy. We're trying to get so many different accounts. Even 5 is a really, really, really good number to make high 6 figures, or even more, or even if 2 or 3, you still good, so, the power of mirror trading, what I'm doing using social trader tools is, whether it's your private accounts or whether, it's your prop firm accounts, imagine this, catching these moves, and these moves that's this large doesn't happen every day. So more realistically, just even looking at what happened today, these moves happen more often, these short moves like this. And so having multiple accounts using social trader tools, and I have my settings, and like I said, I'll do another video for you in the near future to actually show how to set up accounts and use and explain what those different settings are in that tool. But I use personally, I know some people use a percentage of their accounts to mirror trade into, which is, a good way to do it in a conservative way. But because I've mastered the way that I'm trading, and I'm using fixed lots because I make more money that way. And but even though I'm using fixed lots, I'm still not over leveraging my accounts. And so, but let's go through example of, let's say if you had, and I'm not even going to say 10 accounts or 5 accounts. Let's just say if you had 3 accounts, let's say you caught this move today and you're only doing $1 a pip, and you caught this move today. And you're like, woohoo, I made $100 or $166. Multiply that. I'm gonna do easy math. But let's say this was a $200 day for you. If you have 2 accounts that you mirror traded into, now instead of $200, you just made $400 across 2 accounts. 3 accounts, you just made $600 for the day. And when you do that, to me as a scalper, you should be done, especially if you're new and you still, new to trading and learning. Don't keep trading. Don't keep scalping through the day. I don't care if the market's still raging in your direction. Learn to have a plan and stick with that plan. Don't go into each day trying to trade and catch an entire move for the entire day. You should already know how much you want to make today, whether it's percentage based or fixed amount based. So for example, I want to try and make 1% today on my account. Okay, you should have already known that before you even started trading. So that way you can properly plan your strategy and how you're going to enter and exit the market to get to that 1% or 2%. Or if you say, hey, like me, I don't do percentages because I'm to the point now to where that I'm good enough to where that I can just say, you know what, I want to make $10,000 today. And then I back into, oh, how many pips is that going to be? Okay, so I need to make 1,000 pips, at X amount of lot size, and then I'll be at 10,000. Okay. And then I say, then now I know what my goal is, and I already know my strategy. Now I have to wait. Maybe my setup to make 1,000 pips, maybe my rules don't hit today. So today, I don't trade today. And then tomorrow, I'm like, oh, yeah, look at this setup. It's possible the market is going to go 1,000 to 2,000 pips. Okay, now I can get my $10,000 that I need to make for the day or the week. Okay. And then boom, you wait for this perfect golden strategy entry that's in confluence and in line with the higher time frame analysis that we just went through today. And then boom, you just made it. Don't force it. And you don't have to trade every day. The better I get, I trade less. And And the less I trade, the more I make because I've constantly perfecting these moves to know with high confidence that, man, I know this is going to happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you know, I know no one knows the future. But so maybe I shouldn't say no. But I have a strong, you know, bias towards this is really going to happen because of historical chart patterns, which is all of us retail traders, all we have to go on anyways, is this historically, you know, what has price done, what can it do again? And that's basically what we're doing with these technical analysis. And so based on my 4-hour analysis and my 1-hour analysis and what this golden ticket is telling me, I'm strongly, you know, convinced that this move is going to happen, and I take it and then I win, and then I get out and then I'll close my, you know, screen down for the day and I'm done, you know. And so when you're multiplying your profits, you're going to find your way at 5 figures, 6 figures so much faster. Imagine if you had 3 accounts and you just made $600 today, and you did that 3 days a week, you know, because you're not trading every day, you know, 3 days a week, and you do the math, you know, 3 days a week, and let's even be more conservative, you know. Let's just say, you know what, because I'm mirror trading, I'm able to scalp a short distance, and I can make $500 a day, a very easy and more safer way than trying to do it all in one account and end up, having your nerves wrecked because, drawdown or whatever. I could do it more safely by playing with lower lot sizes and just multiplying my profits to get to 500 instead of trying to get to 500 with higher lot sizes. And so, if you do that 2 or 3 times a week, now you've got 1,500 for the week. Like, that's ridiculous money. What's that for the month? Ridiculous money. What's that for the year? 72,000. You just gave yourself a pay raise. Didn't have to ask your boss at work for it or anything. You did this for yourself safely, by using low lot sizes. It's part of my strategy and then of course you can even you can even use this method to of mirror trading to help compound your profits. It's just another way of compounding it, through multiplication versus, the increase in lot size, as your account grows. There's so many different ways to do it, and this is what I found one of the more safer ways to compound my earnings, because I never have to, keep going up too high on my lot sizes, which is nothing bad about that, but it's like, it's an even safer way to do it, without, because my main, the main reason why I came up with this analysis of how I see this, and glad I saw this when I was trying to perfect using the golden ticket, and then I have to get out of here, guys. I wanted to find when I first started, in this group, I wanted to find a fast-moving, long-moving instrument, and that was consistent, because I didn't want to be a person that's trading, 10, 12 different instruments every single day. I just wanted one that I can just stick with, perfect, and kill. And so I found US30. And then I'm like, okay, how can I master US30? And how can I develop a strategy and trading plan where I can have, as dangerous as US30 can be, how can I develop a low risk, high reward trading strategy? And so that's when I started seeing, okay, Miss Jenny's on to something with this golden strategy entries. How do I perfect, catching the higher probability trades? Like, how do I avoid these, even though these are winners, but they're not the ones that I want personally? Some of you may take these and be fine with it, but I want these kind of moves, How do I do that? And so I start back testing and looking at historically of what's happening. And now when I back test it, you don't just look at one time frame. I back test it on a 5 minute, and then I start putting, my lines, horizontal and vertical lines, on a 5 minute to say, oh, here's what happened, you know, on a 5 minute. Now let me see what happened. What did the charts look like on the 1 hour? Oh, it looks like something like this. Oh, okay, I'm starting to see that now. You know, on the 4 hour, it looks like something like this. And then once your eyes start to see it, and then you start practicing in demo, and then you know, you go a couple weeks to where like you're like winning trade after trade after trade. Then you get it, and then all of a sudden, don't get hung up on the money. That the money is going to come with it. Master the strategy first. Forget the money, you know, and forget the amount of money. Look at percentage wise, you know. But anyways, sorry. My neighbor now, he's got the blower going. I can barely even hear myself. But I do need to get out of here and get to resolving these issues. And then I promise I'll be back with Jenny to talk more about the in details of the social trader tools and the prop firms and everything as well.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to do the best I can to field some questions on your behalf. We've been enough offline that if I don't know, I promise to refer them back. And otherwise, I'm super grateful for you, and we'll definitely schedule you on again. And thank you so much, Rickey. Enjoy the rest of your day at work.
Okay. And you know what? If man, I hate to, I really hate to do that. I kind of went a little longer.
No, not at all. This is
And
meant to be a hangout. You're all good. Trust me.
okay. So maybe if maybe I can answer one or two questions real quick, and then I gotta go. And then any other additional questions, you can fill those questions. But I kind of wanted to. I'm doing this for you, but also for the people in the group.
All right, who's got the first question? Hold up. Who's got the first question? Y'all better come quick. Spence, come on out.
I got one.
All right, Scott, come on out.
Okay.
What would make you not take a trade?
Okay. Let me get my mouse back over here. Okay. So what would make me not take a trade? And I hope I can answer this in a way that satisfies your answer, but also makes sense to everyone. Is my rules need to be met, but I keep my rules and my trading strategy very simple and well, there's so many ways to answer that. I wouldn't say one answer I would say is the time of day is one. I only trade mostly in the New York session. Every now and then I'll wake up through London session if I feel that US30 is going to make its move during that time. Then I'll wake up so I can catch it, because sometimes, you know, the US30 likes to move around, you know, an hour or two before market opens. And so sometimes if I feel that could happen, I'll wake up early and trade London session. But the first part of the answer, I would say, it depends. I would not take a trade outside of my self-allotted trading time period, which is mostly New York session. Also, I don't like taking trades after 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is my time, because I don't want to get stuck in consolidation, and I don't, as a scalper, I don't want to be in my trades at the end of the day, rolling over to the next day into Asian session. I don't like that. Okay. So that's one way. Another way is my rules have to be met. The 4 hour is not a good example. Let me find another. Oh, here's one on the 1 hour chart. Yeah, maybe this would something like this. But of course, this is also part of the Asian session, I think. I think this may be outside of.
You're into London there.
London? Okay. So this here you see how small all these candles are? It's consolidation. I'm not taking these trades because you know what? I don't see any trend. I just see consolidation. So that's another thing that will keep me from taking trades. Is because I don't see a trend. The golden ticket is a trend finder, basically, and so I don't see anything trending.
And I'm wrong there, by the way. That is Asian.
Asian, okay, yeah. So it's Asian. So I already answered that question. That's why I wouldn't be in here. But if you do see something like this during London or New York session, this is not trending. Stay out. Draw your box. Look for a breakout, retest on a smaller time frame with an enter on the 5-minute golden strategy and ride this up. So I have to see 4-hour and 1-hour candles doing this. Rejecting from the 9 or the 3, rejecting from the 9 or the 3, rejecting. Oh, I see a trend now. So yeah. Let's say I can't. Yep. Okay. Does that answer your question enough?
I was looking more at the little nuancy details, but
Yeah.
let's just go on to another question. It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you are next. Come on out.
Hi, Ricky.
yes. Hello.
Yeah, sorry. Just a quick question. So basically you use the 4-hour, which is the big time frame, and the 1-hour, those are as your direction, and then you get your 5 minutes, which you take your trades on.
Correct.
Right. So another question again. So because you do New York time, the open session. So if someone leave, let's say you leave like where I live in the UK, and you're working, because probably at this time of opening is round about 2:30 that time there, which is 9 o'clock there, or 8:30 in the morning is probably in the noon, maybe lunchtime at working hour. Say you at work at that particular time, what would be your next option to do? Because now looking at this and what you were explaining, so for you to understand this thing better, you have to train your eyes. You need to be able to see despite the direction. You need to be able to see when this thing are moving. So you train your eyes and you go used to them. Then you can able to execute better with the help of your direction. But what I'm saying now is, if you don't have like you are in a work and you can't see this thing happening, so what will be the method? Is there any way that like your setup can send you a alert, and then you can quickly just take a quick look and then see if you can do any execution? Or what would be your advice towards that?
So I may have to have Miss. Yeah. Can you make a note of that question? Because it's a really good question, and I'm sure it impacts others as well. Can you because I'm not yet.
No, you're Ricky. I want to honor your time and say thank you.
Okay, good.
There are a couple of questions the best I can, at least in terms of a trader that I am, and want everything I know from what you're doing, and see if we can't help a few more people. But you get on to work. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule today. We appreciate you, and thank you, Ricky.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Spence, to answer your question, here, I'll pull up the screen share. Listen, so I'm a pretty big advocate, as you guys know, that you can make money in any session. You just might have to change the pair. So like, would I necessarily be playing with, let's go to a cleaner chart, US30 on London? Probably not. Not as much, just not likely. But can you do maybe German 30 or something on that time frame? Absolutely. You can do the same thing that he's doing with the 3 and the 9 and the 50 and double checking the multiple time frames, okay? You can do all the same thing, but if US30 isn't trading during your session that you're available, I'm not even talking like where you live. I'm talking about the time zone that you're free to trade. Like some
Right.
people live in America, but they're just not free during New York time. So they're like, well, that's not going to work. So if that's the case, what is moving during Asian session? What is moving during London or London, New York crossover? So whatever time you want to trade, I would probably pick a pair that moves a lot during that period
Mhm.
and then do the same thing. So he's got multiple charts. Again, when the strategy started, we were doing multiple time frame too, and just one higher up. So not the same thing. You can also use the golden ticket to kind of do that. And yes, the other part of your question about alerts,
Mhm.
the scanner, you can get alerts on the multiple different directions, multiple different ways to get alerts.
I haven't. All right. Well, I'll leave that for another day because other people are about to ask the question. Because what I was going to say, I remember you did promise you were going to set up the scanner. You were not going to set up the Swiss. Knife. You were just going to set the GT scanner to take the send the alerts. But I think something take your attention where we didn't do that.
Oh, so wait, you need to set up your golden ticket, your scan GT.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't remember which problem you had, to tell the truth, but yes, we can help you maybe on Tuesday. So Tuesday we'll look for our trades, and then after that we'll go on. And if you have some time during that class and you'll be available, we'll walk you through, as long as you have the Swiss Army knife. You have the Swiss Army knife, right?
Yeah, I've got everything.
Okay. Then we can help you get that all set up that you need it.
Right. Thank you.
All right, awesome. And in the meantime, you can pick your couple of pairs, and you can also do the same thing from golden ticket.
Yeah, we're trying to do that tonight and sit down and see if I can play around that.
All right, awesome.
And there's
All
a
right.
video on my website as well that tells you how to set up a scanner.
Thank you, Scott. That's very helpful, actually. Yes.
Is it a link you sent to me before that says synchronize or something of the sort? It got there's some link you sent to me that have, I think you were showing how to do synchronize and do drawing, use the drawing tools, and I think I'll go through that link and see if it's there.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in the Swiss Army knife section, and it'll be one of the last videos, maybe the last video. I think the last one is how to set up for Telegram, but otherwise it's in there.
Yeah, you send the one for the Telegram. I saw that one.
Hey, Scott, you can send me the one that sets it up for Telegram, but that's another note. So, yes, please send me the one that sets it up for Telegram. Elijah, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am. Can you go over what he was looking for on the 4-hour time frame?
On the 4-hour time frame, so remember, I mean, this chart isn't set up conducively, but I can go to a different pair. This should have everything too, minus the ADX. I don't know. He doesn't have the ADX on there. 4-hour time frame. Let's go to a clean pair. Okay, let's go to UJ. On the 4-hour, he wants to see that price is bouncing off the 3. So like right now, he would be looking for sells. We're below the 3. Okay. And as price closes above the 3, he would be coming now down to the 1 hour and the 5 minute to see what price is doing to say, okay, now I'm going to buy when the golden ticket says so. So he's using the golden ticket as the entry, but he's also using the slow MACD and the multiple time frame confirmation.
So where you have that line going down?
This pink line, or annotate on my screen for me if you would.
So he's looking for the candle to close above the 3?
So if prices right now, all these bullish candles are closing above the 3, okay? He's going down to the 1 hour to see what price is doing, to see if he's got room, right? It's the same thing we talk about. He's just saying it differently, which will hopefully help a few people. So he's using the higher time frame. Now he's going to say, okay, does it have room? And he's going to the 1 hour, he's going to the 4 hour. And as long as it has room to get, in his case, he's going for 1,000 pips on US30. Cool, he's got room. Now he's going to the 5 minute looking for this entry, right? Or the 3 and the 9 cross on the 5 minute even. And in his rules, I think the biggest variation in terms of what he's doing is his re-entries don't have to touch the 50, right? Whereas my re-entries have to touch the 50. But the biggest reason his re-entries don't have to touch the 50 is because he's using the 4 hour to say, hey, the bullish candles are all kind of closing on and closing bullish on the 3. We're looking for this to buy up. So the 1 is telling him he's got room, and then the 5 is now giving him the actual golden strategy, original Jenny's golden strategy, all that nonsense, or the slow MACD, or the 3 and 9 cross, which are all golden strategy entries. And that's how he's taking them.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
You see, Brika, the answer is the 3. He's using more of the 3 these days than the 9. But yes, the 3 and the 9. So when it bounces off and rejects off the 9, he pays attention to that too.
It would be the opposite for the cells, right?
Yep, opposite for the sells. I've got my MT version of ATM that sends the stop loss with the trade immediately. Yeah, ATM is on MetaTrader 5 is being funky. And actually my time on MetaTrader 5 for Swiss Army Knife is being funky, but I want to stay on this topic for just a second. Swiss Army Knife Layman's, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, is available on cooltradingtools.com. It does, if you're in the group, you get a scanner as well that will send out all the alerts you want. It's really snazzy. We need to pull it up. But as part of the membership, which works as a companion product to Swiss Army Knife. But either way, Swiss Army Knife is awesome. It does so many things. I can't even begin to list them all. And I'm really excited for it to work really good on MT5. So more people who's using it, the quicker we can get that to happen. I'm going to keep scrolling up. Your question, Shine, what was your question? I wanted to ask if he trades sessions, if he has any tips or secrets. He mostly does New York Open, and like he didn't go over this a lot in his call, but like when he's wrong, he does scale in. He'll scale into this trade if necessary, and then take the bigger size loss. He'll do all those things. But that also is conducive with his work cycle. So I hope, and this is me not speaking on his behalf, this is speaking on my behalf, just to differentiate for a second. I hope people realize, yeah, of course, US30 is best, it's going to move have the most volume during US session. But you can do comparable things with comparable pairs to your session. You can do, hey, I love the JPY pairs. They always treat me right. I like the way they move, and they're really spicy. And you can do that during Asian. If you pick any pair and go to any time frame, money is always moving in this market, always, forever. So don't think that you have to trade a certain way, because you don't. You just pick the session that's going to work for you, and then pick your pairs around that, if you would, please. Pick your pairs around that. Don't try to cater your life around the market. Try to cater the market around you. That's a Jenny insert, more or less. All right, who else has got questions, comments? The idea was hopefully show a little bit more in terms of social trading tools and how people are linking it to multiple prop firms and or accounts and mirroring trades with various risk settings and parameters and things of that nature. But I probably will have Robert also come out. I'm not going to use the word CC in this case, so I'm going to have to help him filter himself, just like I have to filter myself. But it's not just about a copier or an EA or a manual trader. The idea is learning to link the account to the account. So I'm going to change.
You could do it manually too.
Yes.
As long as you do it on the main one.
So he's using one main account whether it's the CC or not, he's using a main account as a demo and linking.
I'm using a copier. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. He's using, whether it's a copier or an EA or manually traded, he's taking this main account that's got trades coming into it and linking it in various ways with various settings to various prop firms. And I think that skill set is going to be super, super advantageous. And that's something also Rickey is very, very good at as well. Let's see. Any other questions, comments, things that we can maybe hash out?
I will give a warning about that. I've found, it may not be for everybody, it may just be a certain broker, but I've found on MT4, the take profit stop losses don't always copy across on my MT4 one. So I switched everything but my one funded account over to MT5.
Absolutely. Well, Robert, again, a little off topic, but I have seen so many obscene anomalies with MT4. I am flabbergasted. It's easy for a trader to make excuses, and in hindsight, it's always 2020. It's not that. For example, GA only on MT4 closed and same broker, by the way, MT4 and MT5, same broker, closed a trade that it should not have closed more than 30 pips away from a stop loss. And not only did it do that, it reopened the thing. Okay. It reopened it there. And then it was a whole mess. The whole stop losses didn't take profits, the whole nine, it's a mess. And D5 is far superior when you're talking about any kind of linking, whether it's a copier like an EA or a copier like Social Trading Tools. The accounts are literally a different value. They're literally having, it's a higher value for where the trades are opening and closing on one than the other. So
Yeah, I can share and show what I know. I don't know everything, obviously, because I've only been using it a couple of weeks, but
that's
it
okay.
seems to be working well.
I think you and Ricky would be great people to talk about that with. So, but not today though, another day. Elijah, come on out.
Hey, Miss Jenny, quickly. Sorry.
Go ahead, Spence, come on.
If you check your Telegram, I sent you a video there. The last video that I sent you, I just downloaded it. It's a guy that was showing how to do a setup of the social trading tools. So
Okay.
if possible, before we can come around, you can take that video and look at it. If it's right, then you can put it in the group. They can use it.
I think
It's very decent the way he set it out from start to finish. I think he's got about 20 accounts in prop farming, so he did set it well.
He did do it very well. So I think I will link that to the copier thing on.
Yeah. Looked at the last video that I sent you, very last video.
I think it finally downloaded. So it was a very large video. It took forever to download.
That may have been the one I watched when I first set mine. It could be. It's really detailed.
I will definitely consider posting that in the Discord community aspect, because that's where Social Trading Tools is. That's where my personal one will be, which originally was to have all the same trades as CC. But because there's other providers, which again has a value, I'm not knocking that. I'm very much in love with the idea that we compensate each other's drawdowns and wins. It's kind of awesome to see. I think it was maybe Elvis or it was probably Uncle P who just closed a GN in profit. Well, like I had great profits all week, but right now my two trades are in drawdown, right? So it's beautiful. Elvis's two trades are in drawdown, and that's okay. It's part of the real system. So having said that, the copier and Social Trading Tools will have a lot more trades and be traded a little bit differently, because I'm not contending with other providers or management styles. So inevitably that's how that will end up coming out. But Elijah, come on up.
Do you have anything about the prop firms being shut down?
I have to take a neutral standpoint. So my only suggestion is trying not to be so darn long-winded. If you're interested in a prop firm or a broker of any kind, go buy your challenge. I'm not clear on whether or not you have to activate it or start the trade today or not, but go get your foot in the door with as many brokers and props as you possibly can with real dollars. So don't just go create the demo account on AFX, create a live account and put whatever the minimum dollars is required into that broker or into that prop firm challenge, what have you. Because on the daily, literally day by day at this point, this broker is no longer, this prop firm just kicked off, this. And I said this months ago, because it flipped my life upside down when Hugo's happened. Please understand that it was my mainstay. I have been a very successful trader for a long time. It was my mainstay for all of my money, my accounts, my multiple servers. So when that happened, my life was uproared, including other things and travel and some family emergencies. Like, it was nuts. It was catastrophic. So please, guys, if you're interested in a prop firm or a broker, take whatever McDonald's money or Red Lobster money you were going to have this month and go put a little bit in every place that you can, because there's no guarantees if the whole grandfathering thing is going to even sustain itself. If the laws come down that we're not allowed, it will not sustain itself. But it's a chance. It's a leg in the door. Am I a super advocate of prop firms? Somebody again asked me the other day, and I don't have a short-winded answer. I'm sorry. I believe that for the value of learning to regulate yourself and stop over trading, over leveraging, it is second to none. It's a great place to be. But in my opinion, and I'm saying this boldly and direct, dollar for dollar, I think it's a freaking waste of money. I mean, dollar for dollar. If you have the skill set to actually flip an account, you can flip so much money so quickly, even starting with, a moderate amount. They're going to be a lot harder with a couple hundred. Okay, you're going to need a couple grand. But you can get a credit card for a couple grand with all due respect, with even with interest, you're going to pay less dollar for dollar. And I'm just talking business to you. I honest to God think most prop firms at the end of a 2-year period are a literal waste of money. And I know no one's talking about that because everyone is pitching that, hey, I'll pass your prop firm, or, pay me $1,000, or hey, this EA passes prop firms, let me prove it. Everyone's got a pitch. But if you go back and look at the companies who have A, either fabricated their results, right? Or B, the people who have, remember, 90 some odd percent of people fail the challenge, which means you just keep buying challenges. The 10% who pass it don't have the account, like 8%, 80% of that don't have their account or don't get to the payout stage, right? And now remember, you're only working with 2% at this point, okay? Of the 2% who do pass their payout, they don't have the account within 6 months. And of that 2% that's left, a very, very small handful have their account within 2 years. And this is studies done across multiple different prop brands. So when you take that data, it is a great, and this is data, not my opinion. It is a great YouTube worthy concept. It is a great trade somebody else's billions concept. But here's the truth. If you build your own darn account and get good at it, even if it is only $1,000, and you build yourself a 6-month track record, there are so many people with money who will allocate private funds to you. They will seek you out. Okay. You don't even have to go market you. You will have less restrictions, less regulations, and less problems. More access to your performance fees. Okay. More control over what you're doing. And dollar for dollar, at the end of this 2-year period, you guys keep buying these darn $1,000 challenges and failing them. Or maybe you pass it and then fail the other next part, or get kicked off for this other stupid little tiny minute thing. And then last but not least, trading is hard enough without all those extra rules. I mean, again, maintaining the over leveraging part is awesome. But the other rules like, oh, I had an EA on it, or oh, I held for a weekend, or oh, I wasn't allowed to do XYZ, whatever their little minute rule is that people didn't know, right? And then they lose the account, it sucks. So that's everything I have to say about prop firms. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I had 3 accounts that were getting payouts from funding pips, and they just got shut down.
Okay, wait. So here, I'll talk to you for a second. Real talk, and you can be as honest as you want. How many payouts were you getting, or approximately how much? Where did you get a payout from?
I got my 3rd one last month.
And dollar for dollar, you earned about how much?
About it was 4,800.
Okay, not bad. And you've probably spent how much on challenges in the past year?
About, I'd say 3,000.
Okay, so
I failed a lot to start.
That's fair, net profit, but you still got a net profit. You're a great example of the very rare few percent. But the other problem is that I left out the people who do make it past all those horrid statistics. Most of them are not taking that net profit. And in your case, we're going to say $2,000. We'll round up. They're not taking it and saying, okay, cool, I'm going to fund my own account. I've got $2 grand to work with. And now I'm going to build my name. I'm going to build my own account. And doing it that way. They take the money, they go to the mall, or they think they've arrived, or they do the things. So if they're going to use a prop firm for the reason of, hey, I'm going to know that this system is unstable and unsafe and uncertain, but I want to play the game as long as they let me, then treat it like that. Go get as many payouts as you can, but not with the intention of buying the house or funding the dream or walking away from your job. Take the payouts with the intention of, I'm going to put this into my own account, and I'm going to trade my own account with as much dedication, discipline as I'm trading the prop firm. Because again, guess what? You not only get 100% of the profits, but now instead of having a 5% drawdown limit, you can have a 10. Now, instead of having to pay everybody else, people are going to seek you out if you honestly can prove that much, success over a period of time. So.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
I know, I'm sorry it's long-winded, but guys, I know so many people have spent more money than some people make in a year on prop firms in the last 2 years. And they have nothing to show for it dollar for dollar, even though they passed or they got to this point or that point. It's insane. That's my 2 cents. Jonathan, I see you trying to unmute. Come on out.
Hey, morning, Jenny. Also, outside of the prop firms are being, I guess, they're affected because of the fact that right now the government is going after the fact that CFDs are being traded. So as a side effect on that, prop firms are being brought into it. So also keep in mind, like Jenny mentioned, with regular brokers and that sort of stuff, we may have a little pushback at some points, and we may have to deviate, whether it be going eventually to futures or whatnot. All that's unknown because everything's trying to settle, and brokerages as well as the prop firms are trying to, I guess, navigate on the go as they try to, transition with, the regulations and what the government brings across. So the main thing is just having as many eggs as possible and just putting your money in different places, getting set up with all these different prop firms if you can in the meantime. So hopefully you are grandfathered, and then you should be good. But nobody really knows. Even the prop firm owners, they don't know. They just know that they're currently being under attack, and they're all trying to figure it out. And there are some bad eggs out there as well in prop firms who are trying to take your money. So you do have to do your research, or don't go all in on it. The other thing too is that with the prop firms and people that are doing it, like Rickey's another perfect example. His game and his money and his finances have leveled up substantially because of him leveraging the prop firms. However, keep in mind that he's been trading for a certain amount of years, and he does have a plan, an edge that he uses towards the prop firms as far as just, putting money in and winging it and hoping that they get the one payout. So he's exploiting his edge that he's, sort of mastered to leverage those prop firms and consistently leverage his account and the balances that he's getting. So going back to what Jenny was saying, that if you're new or if you're just using this as a process to hopefully hit it big, then you may want to sort of divert a little bit and then go back to maybe funding your own account, maybe doing both at the same time, not going all in on the prop firms, just getting the skill. And then once you have the skill, there's going to be plenty of opportunities. You're always going to have opportunities, even if they take the Forex and us using MT5 meta quotes or whatever, we'll just switch to a different platform that we'll be able to trade with because the skill's there.
That, well said. And guys, something to consider, to go back to Rickey, he's a prime example of even the people who have had success have this. And remember, he was funded over 7 figures at one point. And the mistake he made was not breaking the rules. It was literally just some stupid withdrawal process issue. So minute, so tiny, but it backfired and spiraled to all accounts. So yeah, if you're going to take this road, take it knowing that it may not be forever, which is not bad. You can still start your nonprofit or pursue your dreams and do the thing. Okay, I'm all about it, but don't do it with the intention of this is my life plan for the next 5 years, because even the brokers at this point, and Jonathan made a great point, are just as unstable as prop firms. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't even know if I have an opinion on that at this point because there is so much changes. But back to his point, if you have this skill set, you can work for so many funds. You can do so many things in so many industries. It would blow your mind because nonprofits have investment wings. Okay, banks have investment wings. Okay, hedge funds have investment wings. You'd be surprised how many companies have investment wings of their structure, and you'll be able to take this, very remote position. And there's nothing wrong with corporate. Again, I've been self-employed my whole life. So would I do this all again? I don't know. I mean, there are some benefits to the corporate world that pays you, 250,000, 500,000 remote anywhere you want, corporate accounts and the whole nine. You have options plus performance fees and bonuses and what have you. So just know that the industry might change, but it's not forever gone. And once you get your skill, whether it be through a proper personal, you can make money in many ways, so many ways. So many. Spencer, come on out.
Miss Jenny, you see, there's prop firms. I'm a victim of one of them, my Forex fund. The stupid thing I did is not after a couple of withdrawal, I didn't make any serious use of it. And the last accounts that was in profit, that's when they sweep them off their feet. But what I'm saying is, looking at this prop firm like Rickey, they had a lot of edge because basically you've already been prepared. You've got edge for them. So all you're going to do is to make your profit and then just take your money and do something serious. Like us, we were just getting excited, making the money, do a few withdrawal, and then don't think about what was going to happen. But again, when you look at them, you see they're being chased all over the place now. When they chased one, the next one's getting panic. It's because they're not genuine. If you're genuine, stand there when the authority come for you, prove yourself genuine, and then you can move on with life. But when you see they start wobbling, it's because of what they do. And that's what life tends to catch up with people because of all the unfaithful and all the dodgy things they've been doing to people. Now it's catching up with them. So that's why they're shaking at the moment. Anyone before you see they could get close to another one, the next thing they've gone under, but they will still come back when everything is died out. So it's just now what I see for me. I'm looking at this is the time for me to sit down and settle and understand now that you understand how to attack them, settle, get the knowledge. When they come back, you have to be ruthless with them, attack them, get what you want, and then just get out. Because if you make that mistake back again, then you're in trouble. I think that's my own take about it.
Amen. Hey, Spencer, you're not a victim ever, okay? So you know, ever. You're a victor. Because from that lesson you learned, right? Like, we don't have to be the victim to any external circumstances. We get to decide what we do with that experience and to believe in our cores that out of this situation, even the crappy ones, that only good will come. And it's hard as heck sometimes, man. It's hard, but it's possible. So just wanted you to know that.
Thanks.
You are welcome. Okay, Robert, you've been patient. And then any other questions for any of the stuff that Rickey went over or anything else? Robert, come on out.
If I recall, I don't know if it was him or somebody else. I read that what happened when he did that withdrawal, or whoever did that withdrawal, it affected his and put him for some reason, the math, by the time the math was done on it, I suppose, they ended up reaching their daily drawdown limit, and that's what happened.
Yeah, it was this
something like that. Yeah,
so small. But when they have all the power, okay, that's what's going to happen. When they have all the power, it really, it's just an unstable environment. Like, I don't know where you guys are at in your life, but you wouldn't walk into a situation like that. You wouldn't go on a boat trip like that, or there's so many things that you wouldn't necessarily operate your life like that. But some reason for a prop firm, we think that it's acceptable. But if they have all the power in the game, it's not as safe as a playing field that people think it is. Just not as safe.
I tried to keep understanding that one. I still, even no matter how many times I try to run that through my head, how he was able to, how his account was able to go over the draw limit or the daily draw limit for that. That's just red flags in my head. Like, there's no reason that should have been done. And even if there was some sort of reason or glitch in that, they should have been able to make that right. But then again, they went under, so I guess that speaks for itself.
That right there, 100%.
But the reason I'm using prop firms is to try to make money to do my own accounts. And I can for like an extra $10 or something. I know some Blue Guardian, you have a feature of withdrawing every 2 weeks. So my plan is to withdraw every 2 weeks and maybe just leave a little bit extra in it. And then if it keeps going, I'll just let it keep going. And if they do something weird, you know, I've got other ones with it.
Yeah, it's a good tool. But I think part of the thing too that I think Jenny was trying to also elaborate on is that, like, sort of the industry over the last couple of years has done like a change where people are enamored so much with the prop firms and getting these certificates that they feel like that sort of validates them. And then also a lot of influencers are using that. If you look at the YouTube algorithms, everything's about passing the prop firm, passing the prop firm.
Oh yeah, I don't even look at YouTube for trading.
Yeah, as opposed to just the skill and learning how to trade, you know, that's a byproduct of that. When you have that, then you can, you know, you can pass those prop firms, you can get personal capital from other people, you can start your own hedge fund, whatever the case may be. the possibilities are limitless. But I think that's the main thing that we're losing track of. And unfortunately, there are some people too that are actually exploiting that and using that to their benefit because of, you know, the traction now with prop firms. And I did have a question. We may have to have that for the other class, Jenny, that you're asking, related more towards Rickey and his and what he discussed here in class. One of them was I was sort of gonna ask him about his positionings, that he takes multiple positions, and he did, I think, answer that, because I was wondering what type of percentage he uses, but he said he doesn't use percentage. So I was trying to figure out if there's a fixed lot size that he, or I guess a dollar amount, monetary amount that he uses for each, I guess, percentage that he's trying to get for a trade, and then if that's broken down into those 4 or 5 positions that he does take. And then the other thing I did want to ask him was, because he slays it, like, to be honest, with these prop firms and passing it. Because a lot of people who do pass these prop firms and say that they pass in the next 5 days, they don't tell us about how many times they failed before they pass, right? So I want to know, how does he change? What's his tactics when he's passing them physically, when his objective is passing the phases? And does he change that based off of, to, you know, how he just has a set dollar amount that he's just reaching for each day, you know, and you know, that he's fine. You know, how he was saying, you know, if I get 1,500 today, then I'm good, and across all my accounts. So I don't know if he discussed any of those with you, or maybe we'll just leave those questions to the next time he comes on.
I would want to honor him with those questions, because that's a him question. So I'm sure he's going to listen to this recording and go over that. But great question. I do want him to answer it. Obviously, I'm very biased on percentage-based stuff, just because it's more stable. And what he did say something about the whole, like, the better you get, the less you trade kind of concept. It's that. So did I make a lot of money not knowing? You know, I was literally doing point something per point something, right? Using the original compounding sheet that did not factor in one pair being worth more than another. So I'm not in any way saying it's not profitable. I'm just saying it's not as duplicatable for optimization, like for the most safe way to build long term. So he did say something about fixed lot sizes. I'm not sure if he was referencing that on only social media linking or social trading linking, or if that was he's doing his main account. And since I don't know the answer, I don't want to answer on his behalf. But great question. Great question. Oh, sorry, Robert. I didn't know. I just got your DM. You can come on out if you're still here. Say he wasn't finished yet. I'm sorry, guys. Sandra said, passing a prop firm means nothing to me if I don't get the. Thank you. Thank you. Sandra, thank you. That's the woman in you. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I had to go there. But we get so tied up in the status of something. It's ridiculous. It's kind of silly to think about. I don't need to say I passed a prop firm if they didn't pay me the money. You know, it doesn't matter if I didn't get the payout that I'm actually there for. So if you guys are using them, take 100% of the withdrawal you're able to take, and then just do it again the next week. Because you're already trading somebody else's money anyways. There's no sense in leaving it on the table. And the same with your own personal account. Like, take your withdrawals more often, guys. Funded Pro offers a 1-week free trial and the ability to roll over 5%. That's awesome. Now that's something interesting. That's a good place to go. I don't know if that's one of the ones that just all of a sudden said they're not doing US, but you can. Adam says if he only trades one instrument and intimately knows his average stop values, trading percentage or slot size is almost the same. Yeah, I would agree. When I'm only on US30, I don't have to second guess or wonder as much, because if I'm on US30 on the smaller time frame, I have a really good idea of the pip count, the movement. You know, if I'm on the 1 minute, 5 minute, I know pretty accurately, like pretty well. But when I start factoring in all these other pairs and concepts and time frames, yeah, percentage based would be better. But Adam, you made a great point. Great point. All right, anybody else have any questions, comments? The last thing I'll say is, first off, I'm very grateful for Rickey for coming out and just spending a little bit of time with us. And not to undervalue what he's doing, I want to over push what you guys are capable of doing. Meaning, you can take the golden strategy, and maybe it's not the golden strategy, it's whatever else. I don't care what it is. Well, I'm going to use the golden strategy, for example. and optimize it in a way that your eyes see best. If you want to go to the single next higher time frame, cool, do that. Sometimes it's a lot of decisions. Some of y'all might try to go to 3 charts and find out it is not for you. It's too much information and it's hurting your feelings, right? That's okay too. But there's so many different ways. I believe it was, I don't remember who started this. It was not me, but let me pull this up over here. You have the option of you like Rickey's style, but don't want the 3 charts kind of thing. You can do multiple things like adding these for the 1 hour and the 4 hour, getting a really good idea of the trend. It's not going to show you the 3 or the 8 per se, but you can get a good idea and then only take ones, that are in line with that. There's a lot of ways to simplify and do stuff like this. But the problem is too many people go gung-ho on that thought process or theory too fast versus, hey, I think I like the way that this is operating. I think I like the way that I see this. Here's what I want to do with it. And then testing it, backward testing and forward trading it to see what it actually, achieves, and then kind of going from there. So lots of ways to do this. And I'm praying that a lot more of you guys come out with your 6 and 7 figure graduatory kind of successes. I'm very excited for it. Very, very. All right. Anybody else? Anybody at all? Thank you, everyone. Felicia, I love you. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here, and just I'm excited for the community and where it's all going. Just I know I've said that quite a bit, but it's been really cool to come in into the chats and see the different conversations and the different thought processes and just to watch it all evolve. It's been a beautiful thing. It's been a vision. It's my passion project. But all right, guys, that is enough for today. That is like almost 3 hours, although I didn't do all the talking this time. It was somebody else as well. I hope you guys get off the charts this weekend. Allow your trades to play out, do what they need to do. Wins and losses fall where they will, and live to trade another week. So happy weekend. Enjoy the almost springtime weather, and take care, and God bless.
Have a pleasant weekend.